CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. 6 o'clock on Tuesday, August the 18th. A little more sunshine on the way. 12 degrees right now. Sunrise is in 10 minutes, by the way. We're getting there. Let's get to the news. It is 6 o'clock. Here is Lisa Best.
Things to look forward to, and then there's things that we don't need to look forward to. We're a day closer to the deadline for Donald Trump's 50% tariff threats. And one thing we do know is that trade talks have intensified in Washington, D.C. Yesterday, a nearly 2-hour meeting in Washington involved a key member of the Trump administration. CTV's Michael Couture is following the latest developments.
Canadian and American trade representatives took negotiations to the office of Howard Lutnick. It's the longest the two sides have negotiated since talks intensified over the last 2 weeks. When the two sides emerged, it was clear there's more left to do.
We're going to continue working. Our job is not yet done.
Part of that work could be done by Prime Minister Mark Carney, who said,
frankly, we'll have opportunities over the next 48 hours to discuss in more detail as the negotiations go forward, and I think that's the best forum.
We'll be discussing it in detail here on CFAX 2. Later this morning, we'll hear from the President and CEO of the BC Chamber of Commerce. Jen Riley will be live at 8:50. Meanwhile, in the face of tomorrow's tariff deadlines, gas prices about to hike again. If you haven't noticed, they're high right now at the station. This morning, for regular, anywhere from $1.99 to $2.09. And, of course, diesel much more, anywhere from $2.41.9 to $2.69 locally in Greater Victoria. Canadians for Affordable Energy predicting another hike for possibly the pumps later this week. Diesel set to climb possibly 7 cents. President Dan McTeague says the prices could rise another 2 to 3 cents more later this week for regular gas. And of course, the cost in the grocery aisle also remains a focal point. The latest report from Stats Canada shows inflation rose to 3% in the month of July. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has his eye on what has gotten even pricier.
We decided to go shopping. Cereal, pasta, bananas, seafood, chicken, and berries. Total price, $99.67. Barely enough to fill 2 small grocery bags. This shopper is getting creative to save money.
Try to buy in bulk, try to freeze things, do a lot of freezing, doing a lot of Googling of what can be frozen.
Strangely enough, food inflation at the grocery store actually cooled last month, but most shoppers say it wasn't enough to notice. You're probably in that camp as well. The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales in the month of July were down compared with a year ago, but edged slightly higher month over month.
CREA says home sales last month were down 5.3% from the previous year, but ticked up 0.5% when compared with June. CREA's senior economist says that below the surface of the headline national numbers, markets across the country are generally moving back toward balance. The national average sale price of a home sold in July was nearly $675,000, inching up on a year-over-year basis. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
Up Island and IMRCMP investigating a deadly hit and run over the weekend. Police called just before 2 a.m. Sunday. A pedestrian was hit at the intersection of Albert and Dunsmuir Streets. Officers found the man with life-threatening injuries. He later died in hospital. Witnesses say the vehicle fled the scene. Police are asking anyone who may have witnessed this collision or may have dash cam footage from the area between 1:40 and 1:50 Sunday morning to give them a call. Further up Island, a fire has heavily damaged the historic downtown Cumberland building, the one that holds the Riding Fool Hostel. It damaged the bike shop below. Investigators believe it began around 9:30 Sunday night in the back of Dodge City Cycles on the main floor, forcing several guests above in the hostel to leave. Apparently, it was at capacity. 10 people out of residents right now. They were staying at the hostel. Cumberland Fire Rescue Chief Mike Williamson says a firefighter actually fell on the staircase inside the dark smoke-filled building. He suspected he has a dislocated shoulder. The cause remains under investigation, but the crew managed to contain the fire to the section where it started. We're going to hear from the mayor of that community, Cumberland. Vicki Brown will be live on the CFAX Morning Show at 7:50. And the social media giant Meta in court again today, getting grilled. A lawsuit from nearly 30 state attorney generals, which argues a feature on Facebook and Instagram may have a negative effect on the mental health of people, especially teens and kids.
In court filings, Meta estimates it could be forced to pay damages up to $1.4 trillion if it loses this case, though Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers has called that number unreasonable, according to the outlet Law 360. Meta recently revealed it spent $2.4 billion on legal expenses in the second quarter of 2026 alone. And while that's relatively small potatoes for such a large company, it could add up, with hundreds of similar cases expected to go to trial in the coming months. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
And that's your news, 2605. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, how often do you give a book or take a book from a little free library in your neighborhood? There's 1,000 to choose from. 13% say often, 26% occasionally, and 61% say never. You can vote at cfax1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time, 6:07.
I also love that sometimes those libraries nowadays,
Yes.
they've got things that aren't books. Sometimes there's seeds.
Yeah, and yarn.
Yeah.
They like to knit. And
I've seen ones that are just art displays.
oh, that's cool.
That's cool as
Yeah.
well. You don't take it. It's just like, here's some cool art.
It's like this little treasure in the corner that you get to look at. I love that. It's so
Very neat.
kitsch.
I do love it. And by the way, I have on rare occasion taken a book, but I'm always on the lookout.
Yeah, I would say I'm occasional. I do check them out every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
There's certain ones I frequent because I know there's going to be interesting books there.
Yeah, I always look, and sometimes I take. But you're right.
It's kind of like fishing, right?
I do like how, like you mentioned, you get to know certain ones as well. Certain ones seem to develop a theme a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah. From the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I love a good little library. It's 12 degrees right now. We've got sunrise in just a few minutes. Officially at 6:11 this morning. Over to CFAX 1070 Sports. Let's start with all of the Shamrocks lacrosse action, both senior and junior levels. The senior Shamrocks dropped Game 2 of the WLA final against the Adnacks in Coquitlam last night by a score of 8-6. So that means Game 3, which will happen Wednesday night at the Q Center with puck drop at 6:30 in the evening. That Game 3 will be with the series tied up at one game apiece as Victoria won the opener. And now to the junior level at the Minto Cup. Happening in Calgary, the host Raiders lacrosse defeated the Victoria Shamrocks 5-2 yesterday. That's Victoria's second loss in just their first two games in this round-robin stage of the Minto Cup. But they will end up playing all four of the teams at the Minto Cup during this round-robin stage. So a couple more games at least for the junior Shamrocks. With 7 wins in their last 10 games, the Toronto Blue Jays are only a half game out of a wild card berth as they open up a 6-game series in 6 days in this road trip to Florida. The Jays open up a 3-game series first off with the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays. A little bit of FIFA news. Their chief operating officer has reportedly left his role weeks after accusing the president, Gianni Infantino, of deceiving staff with that World Cup sell-off plan that made such a stir not so long ago. Kevin Lamore's statement to the Associated Press this month defended colleagues amid fallout from Infantino's plan to sell stakes in future World Cup profits to private equity firms. Britain's Press Association reported yesterday that FIFA confirmed Lamore's departure. Infantino withdrew the $20 billion proposal after backlash from global soccer officials. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports. It's 6:09. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Scene Plus card and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in-store for details. Well, in traffic, I've got some fun, unusual traffic. I mean, fun's maybe not the right word, but I don't usually get water traffic. You get road traffic, but I got traffic on the water today. There's a 10-day marine closure now active on a section of the Gorge Waterway. This is right near the Selkirk Trestle. Have you been by over the trestle recently?
Not recently, no. What's going on?
Well, if you've been over, you've seen it. They've been kind of putting all these booms or things up. It's because they're doing that underground cable installation between Victoria and Esquimalt. There's BC Hydro. It's a 660-meter long underwater conduit trench, actually, that'll eventually have a cable. And it's just to the west side of the Selkirk Trestle between Viaduct Park and Banfield Park. But because of that, from, I think this started yesterday, it'll be happening today, but it's going to go right until August 26th. It's a closure for all boat traffic. Usually you can kind of boat in between there. Mm-hmm. All boat traffic, 24/7. It's closed. And swimming around the work zone is also closed. So
that makes sense.
Just a heads up if you're heading out of the water.
Yeah, it's fair. If what happens on the road should happen on the water. Equal opportunity.
There you go.
So
get traffic closures you got construction work on the water as well somehow.
Right. Are they using cones though?
I know they should have more cones.
Floaty cones.
Summer construction even extending to the water.
I can hear Steve. He's on vacation, but he's just I can hear him because he's got the cone trigger.
Now, you know what boat is one of the many boats that traverses this section, and I'm curious what they're doing.
Okay.
The hot tub boat.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I've done that once, and this is exactly where we took the hot tub boat through this very stretch. Where are you going to drive the hot tub boat now?
Huh. Oh. It's very strange watching people float in that because all you see is these heads bobbing, but they don't look panicked. And then you get closer and you realize,
they're not sinking.
They're in this little within water raft.
It's not an emergency. They're fine. I was doing traffic and weather, wasn't I? Sorry.
I don't know. We're talking about, traffic on the water.
Yeah. Anyways, so there you go. If you're boat traffic, you have a big closure right by the Selkirk Trestle.
It's good to know.
For the next few days. August 26th is the official time, but they said they might be able to finish it early. So
you have a question, though.
We'll see. What's your question?
It doesn't affect the riding traffic across the trestle, right?
No, trestle's fine.
Okay.
Although they still got that closure on the other end of the trestle on the... sort of the gorge side, not the Vic West side, but the gorge side. They still have that giant detour because of that. It's a long story. You know what I'm talking about. It's been going on forever. I did bike that just last week, and I forgot because I know it's there, but I forget, and then I hit it, and then I get so mad, and then I have to do the detour. It's still there, everybody.
Yeah.
But that's unrelated to this one. That's a whole different thing.
Your patience.
Yeah. Traffic and weather. So there we go. What other traffic's going on? Not much right now on the roads. BC Ferry's looking okay. And for the weather forecast, it is a mix of sun and cloud today. It's going to be highs of 23, a little humid again. It's basically yesterday's forecast repeated. Opening bells for North American stock markets coming a little later this hour, so let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Gains in commodities couldn't offset broader losses at Canada's main stock index. Toronto's S&P TSX fell 62 points yesterday to 36,667. In New York, the Dow dropped 272 and the Nasdaq slipped 84. In Tokyo this morning, the Nikkei was down 2.5%. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong ticked up. Meanwhile, our dollar is trading around 72.1 cents US. We're hours away from a new round of American tariffs. 50% levies on a range of Canadian goods are set to take effect at midnight. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he'll speak with Donald Trump before then. Meantime, Carney says new emission standards to replace Ottawa's EV mandate aren't yet ready. The government is repealing the mandate introduced under Justin Trudeau. Officials say consultations will begin this fall, with draft regulations expected next year. And home sales in Canada slipped 5.3% year over year in July. The Canadian Real Estate Association says it's up slightly from June, signaling markets might be moving back to balance. From the Canadian Press, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday here in a summer that's featuring a construction season so bad it's even closing the roads that are the water. Oh, man. Sorry. That was quite a tangent. I didn't even mean to get onto.
Well, even the Goose, you think of the Goose and cyclists having to take detours too. No one is unaffected by this.
Yeah.
It's equal opportunity construction sites.
Construction causing trouble everywhere this summer. How's construction where you are.
How did the fish feel about it?
How do yeah, they can
Right?
still swim under it, I guess,
You
hopefully.
Sure? Okay.
Well, I mean, you never know, though. You never know.
That's right. We might hear from them yet. Like spiders.
Oh, spiders,
What?
yes. Yesterday was the spiders we were talking about. We got an update about the spiders, by the way. We're going to get to that a little later this hour. But right now it is 6:15. Let's get to Lisa's news.
Things to wait for. A BC court has awarded more than $1 million in damages to a Souk couple. This after a shooting 4 years ago left a man with permanent injuries and his wife traumatized. Anthony Nelson was shot at close range by his neighbor, Paul Trieger, who was later convicted of aggravated assault and firearms offenses. The court awarded Nelson $760,000, his wife more than $279,000, while also ordering Paul Trieger to repay about $64,000 in provincial health care costs. The judge criticized Trieger for continuing to dispute responsibility despite his criminal conviction and found his conduct showed a callous disregard for the couple's suffering. Excavators have begun demolition of the school that was the site of the Tumbler Ridge mass shootings. 8 victims died on February 10th in that shooting, including the shooter's mother and brother who were killed in a nearby family home. Photos posted on social media show the excavators clawing at the school with scraps of metal piled to one side of the building. The demolition comes after the province and federal government pledged funding for a new secondary school at 8 different locations so people in that community can continue to heal. BC's top health doctor, is set to give an update on the health effects of persistent wildfire smoke exposure. Dr. Bonnie Henry will be joined by Vancouver Emergency Management Minister Kelly Green and Forest Minister Ravi Parmar today. Much of southern BC has spent weeks swathed under air quality warnings as major fires burn near Boston Bar, Clinton, and across the Okanagan region around Summerland. An orange quality air alert is in place for the Fraser Canyon and the Coquihalla corridor, but the Environment Canada is saying conditions leading to an elevated warning could persist for another 24 hours here in Greater Victoria. Firesmoke.ca shows wildfire smoke levels will be light over Greater Victoria today, clearing around 7 tomorrow night into the overnight hours, but we will have light smoke in and around our region up until then. And that is your news to 6:17.
Yes, an update on yesterday's spider conversation coming up a little later this hour, but a really cool story to tell you about right now. 8 local high school students have been named Team Canada to compete in an international robotics competition, which will happen this fall in South Korea. We're going to talk about this a little bit with the coach in just a second. Oh, hey, CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the morning show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. On the roads, no crashes, no accidents, no major congestion at this time of the morning. You can text me at 71010 if you see any problem. I'll mention again the closure on the water. This isn't a road issue. This is a water issue. The Gorge Waterway just to the west of the Selkirk Trestle closed for BC Hydro work as they put that big cable conduit under the water for the next few days. Watch out for that if you are boating. And on the BC Ferry schedule, speaking of boating, 7 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swassen, about 40% full right now. Lots of room left, no sailing waits. The weather is looking like a mix of sun and cloud today. Highs at 23, a bit of humidity in the air making it feel a bit warmer, and some wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait. So very similar day to yesterday. And actually the next few days are looking pretty much the same. Right now, 12 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
I got a couple people joining me on the phone right now because 8 local high school students have been named as Team Canada to compete in this international robotics competition that'll take place in South Korea. This year's theme for the first Global Challenge 2026 is a timely one. It's focused on developing wildfire prevention, mitigation, and recovery solutions. A couple of people here to talk about it. I got one of the students, Mount Doug student and Team Canada member Ryan Adler is joining us, and the coach, Christine Nichols, both on the line. I'll start with you, Ryan. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great to get you here. I hope you didn't have to wake up too early for this.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. And then Coach Christine Nichols on the line. How are you, Christine?
Just fine, thank you.
It's all good. If I was in high school right now, this would have been literally the middle of the night for me. So I get it. This is early, but so glad you guys could talk with us. Team Canada, this robotics competition. I'm really excited to talk about it, but maybe we should set the scene here because Christine, I was talking to you off the air a second ago. I didn't grow up with this. When I was in high school, we didn't have robotics teams. This wasn't something that I did. So I always like to maybe just establish for folks who didn't grow up with it, what is this all about?
There's many different ways of looking at it, but the main thing it's all about is the students themselves. There's so many amazing opportunities available to them in the world of STEM, and everyone can have a career in STEM. So we like to say this is a sport where every student can go pro. So it's about them learning about programming, engineering, all of the science, technology, research, and figuring out what it is they want to do and knowing that the whole world is open to them. With this particular competition, one of the amazing opportunity is getting to meet teams from around the world. And so our students have been doing online video calls with teams from India and Slovakia and France and different countries in Africa. And it's just a really cool chance to find out what's going on in all of those countries and starting to build relationships at an international level for these students.
Oh, that's so cool. And the actual physical thing you're doing, Ryan, maybe I'll ask you this question because I think it's neat. If you join these robotics clubs and take part in these competitions at the school level, you get a kit, right? Some basic building blocks for a robot, and then you get a challenge of some kind that your robot needs to accomplish. But how you put it all together to accomplish that challenge is sort of up to the teams to kind of create and experiment with. Is that how this works, or am I completely wrong? Why don't you tell me what it's like to do this?
Yeah, so it actually depends on which first program you go into, but for FGC, First Global, which we're part of, we actually get a kit as part of our registration, and they give us set parts to work with. But as to how we use these parts and build a robot and program it, it's completely up to us.
Right, and then you get a challenge. And in this case, I'm seeing that for the first global challenge that's going on in South Korea that you're going to with the other students locally, fire prevention is one of the big challenges. So that's what your robot's got to do?
So that's actually the theme for this year.
Okay.
The challenge itself is separate. That's what the robot competes in. But the theme for this year is wildfires, which is what we're working on the innovation project for.
Oh, man. I don't know who wants to answer this, but what kind of stuff can these robots do when it comes to wildfire prevention?
So there's different ways you can look at that. One is the game itself is all about suppressing wildfires and getting to safety. So all of the students who are working on these robots are always thinking about those themes, even as they're designing and building their robots to play a game in a competition arena, perfectly safe, no actual wildfires. But then on top of that, the teams are also learning about wildfires in their own community and what issues they could be working on to help them prevent wildfires in the future.
And what could that actually look like? Like, what could the robot physically do? Or what are you guys doing with it?
Did you want to take that, Ryan?
Yes. Well, our robot for this competition isn't actually going to be dealing with real-life wildfires, but robots can drop waters on it, scout for drones or fires that might happen. They can also detect different regions, or they can also help with aiding firefighters while on the front lines of firefighters.
Cool. Yeah, that's so neat. All stuff you're doing. Sorry, go ahead, Christine.
Oh, we've been looking at an area of concern, which is that when the firefighters are fighting a wildfire, they're often in a remote location, and so they don't have cell phone service, for example. And so we've been looking at different ways that they could communicate, know where they are, get information back to their headquarters without the use of cell towers, since that's often not an option when you're fighting a wildfire. So we've taken a focus on firefighter safety and the electronic communications that can support them.
Neat. Okay, so this is cool stuff to be doing as a high school student as part of a robotics club. Now, let's talk about the competition in this Team Canada that's been named. We've got all of these local high school students from you got Mount Doug, you got Reynolds, you got Vic High, Victor Brodeur's in there, St. Margaret's, if I didn't say that one already. There's students from all of those schools joining this Team Canada. How is this local team put together?
So we looked at the teams. All of these high schools do have robotics teams now, as well as one of the community teams called Fix It. And so we pulled students from all of those teams and created sort of an all-star Team Canada, so that we could do our best and accomplish as much as possible with this competition and represent Canada.
Oh, that's so cool. And Ryan, that means you get to go to South Korea, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Let's talk about what that feels like.
Well, honestly, I'm humbled by the experience. Like, the opportunity to do this is amazing. I'm so excited to go to Korea and meet over 190 different teams from different countries and learn about their cultures and who they are and their experiences. And I think it's lovely.
Wow. Okay. Well, Ryan, a great opportunity for you. Best of luck at this competition. That's Ryan Adler. He's from Mount Doug. That's where he goes to school. I guess, not at this very moment because it's summer break. But once you get back into school, one of the things you get to do is go to South Korea along with all these other great high school kids and compete in the first Global Challenge 2026. We'll have last word to you, Christine, the coach of this team. Maybe we should stay in touch, but talk about what you guys are doing to get ready for this.
Obviously, there's tons of fundraising that's happening. We've got a bottle drive coming up on August 30th. We've got a GoFundMe campaign, and anyone who's interested can always check out our website, victoriarobotics.org, and you can follow us on Instagram to see what these students are up to, what they're doing. We try to get a lot of outreach events done in advance so that we can share what's happening with our community. So, for example, we're at Science Venture later today.
Oh, cool. And fundraising opportunities, if you do want to support this team and their journey to South Korea, go to that website, victoriarobotics.org. You can find out more there. Both of you, thank you for being here early this morning to talk all about this.
You're very welcome.
And good luck to you, Ryan.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we got to take a break now because we got the 6:30 news next. Lisa Best with the top stories of the day.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
40 years of Fringe magic. Experience Victoria Fringe Festival, August 26th through September 6th. Feel the roar at Pacific FC. Get your soccer tickets today at cplsoccer.com. West Shore Swap Shop and Market is at Rally at Royal Bay every Sunday. Support Goldstream Food Bank with a $2 admission or a food donation.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6:32 here on this Tuesday, August 18th. We have 12 degrees. That's what I mean to say. Right now in Victoria, heading towards 23 in the sunshine. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and let's say good morning to Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. A BC wildfire update has 126 wildfires currently burning this morning in the province. 46 of those are considered out of control. There's been 12 new starts in the last 24 hours, and a few of those here on Vancouver Island. In fact, we now have 19 fires burning on the island at various levels of control, but 8 of them are considered burning out of control. Most of them are up island in wilderness areas. BC's top public health officer is set to give an update on the health effects of persistent wildfire smoke. Dr. Bonnie Henry will speak today, joined by Vancouver Emergency Management Minister Kelly Green and Forest Minister Ravi Parmar. They will speak in Vancouver. Much of the southern BC area has been weeks under heavy clouds of smoke. Air quality warnings are persistent. Major fires continue to burn near Boston Bar, Clinton, Summerland, and across the Okanagan region. An orange air quality alert is in place for the Fraser Canyon and the Coquihalla corridor. And Environment Canada say conditions leading to the elevated warning could persist for another 24 hours or so. The firesmoke.ca website shows that wildfire smoke levels will be light over Greater Victoria today. You will notice it, though, in the air, clearing around 7 tomorrow night into the overnight hours, so we'll get a reprieve tomorrow night. Demolition is underway at Tumbler Ridge on that secondary school in northern BC, the site of the deadly mass shooting earlier this year.
8 victims died in the February 10th mass shooting. The demolition comes after the provincial and federal governments pledged funding for a new secondary school at a different location. The government said in a joint press release that Peace River South School Board requested help after consulting victims, families, community members, and experts. The release said the help was requested to build a new school and ensured the current school is removed quickly and in a trauma-informed way. Former student Stu Bell said for him, the demolition brought him a massive amount of relief. Hannah Stoles, The Canadian Press.
Some sense of closure for that community. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he expects to speak with the U.S. president before tomorrow's tariff deadline. A wide range of products could be tariffed up to 50% as of tomorrow if Donald Trump follows through. Carney was in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador yesterday to announce a new Churchill Falls agreement. He says he's sure that it will be the first thing he'll talk about with Donald Trump is the tariffs.
The way this is being conducted is the type of generational investment that gets everyone's attention, even the President of the United States.
Carney added that negotiations with the U.S. are very intense and delicate and said he would not discuss the talks in public. A parliamentary committee plans to hold hearings on Canada's security screening process following the arrest of a Canadian NATO intern on espionage allegations. The suspect worked NATO's supreme headquarters, Allied Powers Europe, in Mons, Belgium. Canadian Press reporter Lisa Port has more.
The House of Commons Public Safety and National Security Committee agreed at a meeting Monday to invite Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari and other witnesses to testify. The Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office announced July 25th that a Canadian national of Chinese origin had been arrested on accusations of espionage and participation in a criminal organization.
Belgian officials have not named the suspect, but a federal source for the Canadian government says she is known as Claire Zhang. Simon Fraser University gets a gold star. Their pipe band has claimed victory at the World Championships over in Scotland. They sounded something like this. Now, the SFU band won 3 of 4 events at the World Pipe Championship in Glasgow on Saturday, taking home the Grade 1 global title in the competition.
The Grade 1 World Champions for 2026 are Simon Fraser University, Canada.
Pretty nice to hear. The CFSU's band's first title since 2009 and its 7th overall victory. It's also the first time a team outside the UK has snagged that championship since 2010. That's your news to 6:37. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, how often do you get a book or take a book, give a book that is, or take one from the little free library in your neighborhood? There's 1,000 to choose from across Greater Victoria. 13% say often, 26% say occasionally, and 61% say never. Just check it out. It's pretty cool. You can vote now at cfax1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:38.
Thanks, Lisa. Good morning. We've got 12 degrees right now, some sunshine on the way, a few clouds today, and a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to CFAX 1070 Sports. Lots of local lacrosse still to talk about, as we got two teams doing great things. Victoria Shamrocks, of course, in the WLA final. And at the junior level, the Junior A Shamrocks continuing their run in the Minto Cup. Let's start with the Junior A Shamrocks. Why not? Minto Cup continuing in Calgary yesterday. The host Raiders Lacrosse defeated the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks 5-2. So that's Victoria's second loss in their first two games in this round-robin stage. But they got a couple of more round-robin games to play against the other two teams they haven't faced yet. Senior Shamrocks, Victoria Shamrocks dropping game 2 of the WLA final against the Adnax in Coquitlam. It was a score of 8-6. So the series is tied up at one game apiece now after Victoria took the opener. Game 3 is tomorrow night at the Q Center, puck drop at 6:30. Serena and Venus Williams played their first doubles match together since 2022 U.S. Open. They lost a thriller to Marta Kostyuk and Peyton Stearns last night at the Cincinnati Open. After splitting the first two sets, the sisters nearly recovered from a 6-0 deficit in the match tiebreaker before a double fault by Venus ended their first doubles appearance in a non-Grand Slam event since the Italian Open in 2016. That's your CFAX Sports at 6:39.
Thinking about home renos, but the cost is too high? Think again. Explore affordable DIY options from ProTech Exterior Products at beahomepro.com.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Morning commute is pretty late still. A bit of volume delay on the Trans-Canada Highway. Most of the people just slowing down for the construction. The ever-going construction project widening the highway for the bus lanes. It's the only kind of blip. We got no other major incidents on our roads. If you see otherwise, you can text us at 71010. For BC Ferries, no sailing waits for the weather forecast today. Mix of sun and cloud. We'll see a little wind off the water. Highs of 23. Some humidity back in the mix at times, making it feel a little warmer than that, depending on where you are. A few clouds overnight, lows to 13. And then tomorrow, mainly sunny. Same temperatures again, same conditions. Thursday, it's very much the same thing. Friday and into the weekend, we start to see a few clouds rolling in. We're still staying overcast through the weekend with that rain mentioned. It's just clouds at the moment. And right now, the temperatures around the region are starting to pick up a little bit. 13 degrees in Colwood right now. In Saanich by the University of Victoria, it is 11 degrees. On the markets, we just had the opening bells ring for North American stock markets. No results to report just yet, so I'll tell you about yesterday. S&P TSX closing down 62 points to 36,667. The Dow dropping 272 to 53,459. The Nasdaq also found itself down 84 points to 26,644. Canadian dollar right now in overseas trading at 72.1 cents US, which is kind of where we left it yesterday. We'll get you those results from today now that the bells are ringing.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yesterday was wild. We got talking about spiders here on the radio because those wolf spiders, you know, those big hairy dudes and dudettes, they
work out at the gym.
People were letting us know that they're starting to show up in the houses. They always do that this time of year. There's around about when you kind of get to the beginning of fall. And I know we're in August right now, but
Did
it
you
seems
pay
like
them not to show up at your house?
yeah, that'd be nice. I'd like to pay you $100 just to go away, Spider.
Pretty much.
Anyways, listeners letting us know they were starting to show up. They're starting to see them in the house. It's
Okay.
that season. It's here. And then we had all these listeners giving us their tips for how to deal with spiders. Different remedies for, drilling holes in a chestnut and it keeps them away. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So we had that great conversation, great brainstorming on spider disposal with our listeners. And then you went home, Lisa.
I sent you a photo.
And you sent me a photo because what happened, Lisa?
Never saw one before. Wasn't there before.
Until yesterday.
Maybe I hadn't looked up. I don't know. He was just looking down at me. He, she, couldn't tell. Wasn't close enough.
And it's one of those big guys.
Well, what did you think? I sent you the photo.
Yeah, it was big.
That was pretty, you could put a saddle on that and ride it. Seriously.
This is what I was talking about yesterday, that I don't mind being the spider disposal dad as my role in the household up until the wolf
I
spiders
don't have
show
one
up.
of those at home. It's me.
And and then it's like,
I'm not that terrified of spiders. They do their thing and I do mine. And as long as we don't meet in the middle, I'm okay with that. But yeah, they're quite large and disconcerting because just sat there the whole day up in the corner.
Didn't
just
move?
sat there.
Yeah.
Got up this morning, gone.
But you don't know where, right?
Exactly.
And
the
that's the
thing
worst.
is, sometimes they end up in the shower. And sometimes you pull the shower curtain back and you're like, oh, no.
You're living in your own horror movie.
Yeah, you're not paying for water, buddy. Out. So, yeah, and that's when I get the cup out with the sturdy piece of paper.
Or the coaster, as our listeners were suggesting.
I'm out there in my bathrobe trying to get rid of this spider. I don't want to kill him because I know he's still my friend. We're sort of friends.
Frenemies.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So, yeah, that's what happened. And I sent you the photo because when I say, I had a big spider, it's like, okay, well, how big was the spider? It's like fishing stories, right?
It really stands out.
Yeah,
I know these guys.
Yeah, he does. He certainly,
So you found him in the shower? Is that where you said you found him?
No,
where did you
but I
find him?
have in the past. So, and it's this time of year that I usually find them in the shower. They'll be, it's kind of like, what was the movie? The Hitchcock movie.
The birds?
No,
but
the
for
other
spiders?
one. In the shower scene with Janet Leigh.
Psycho.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one.
I kind of feel like Janet Leigh. And
so you still don't know where it is?
No.
You haven't seen it?
I'm
Okay.
sure he's got friends.
Oh, no. That's trouble.
I'm not that terrified of spiders, but like I say, it's like snakes. I don't want them.
Oh. Lisa, your microphone just turned off. I don't know how. Because you've got a red light that's on telling me your microphone should be on, but you
Try
just
that
disappeared.
again.
There you go. You're back. What'd you do?
It's a spider.
The spider did it.
Let's just blame the spider. I have no idea what happened. See? Weirdness.
Okay, well, good luck when you
There's
get home.
probably spiders in the equipment.
When you get home, it's going to be
cobwebs.
When you get home, it's going to be sitting on your couch watching your TV.
You can't calm me from this.
Okay.
I'm riled up. Can't simmer down.
Maybe reading some gentle news headlines will be the trick. It's 6:46. What's going on?
Something we all want to simmer down about is the tariff situation. The clock ticking down on the U.S. president's warning of 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods, everything from honey to hockey sticks. Very strange. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and his chief negotiator, Jenna Charette, have been in Washington, D.C., banging on doors, shaking hands, and making a final push to avert these tariffs. The Prime Minister has called the negotiations very intense and delicate. Yes, we can believe that. But he says the federal government has a plan to cover all eventualities if there's no deal in place. Today is Tuesday, so we'll see. The U.S. president has threatened to bomb American ally Oman after the country's talks with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The negotiations between the U.S. and Iran have virtually stalled, and Iran has been holding separate talks now with Oman on a plan to manage ships through the strait. Trump reacted angrily to that news during a phone call with a Fox News reporter. Iran effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, of course, after Israel and the U.S. attacked that country. That was back in late February, so this continues on. And new study says one of the biggest predictors of future wealth may be something you simply can't control, which is your parents' financial status. Researchers from the U.S. Census Bureau and Carnegie Mellon University tracked more than 3 million families and found children of homeowners are far more likely to become homeowners themselves. Carnegie Mellon economist Mac Risch says that parental wealth can matter more than adult income when it comes to buying a house, especially in very expensive housing markets, which is pretty much everywhere nowadays. Researchers say family resources may help with down payments and other financial supports that can boost long-term wealth building. And that is your news to 6:48.
Well, we've got more spider tips again coming in at 7:10, which I think is pertinent now that Lisa has one hiding in her house somewhere.
I doubt it's just one.
It's a big one. But
there's evidence with the cobwebs.
Also,
but if I keep them around till Halloween, then I don't have to decorate.
That's true. Actually, it is very Halloween themed. We're a little early, though. Yeah. I've got a few different things we talked about yesterday to update for you. So stay with us because we're going to get a bunch of updates your way, including spiders, in just a few moments. It's right after traffic and weather.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. I'm going to start with this one because a listener is letting me know gas prices might be on the way up. The texter says, tell your listeners to gas up if they can on Pat Bay Highway at Sayward. The petrol can has gone up to 209.9. The Chevron across the street still 194.9. I always think that's funny when you get, two gas stations across from each other and one of them has such a different price. What do you think's going to happen? Everybody's going to go to the cheap one. Anyways, thank you for the text at 71010. Watch out for rising gas prices. Apparently, at least there's one report there. If anybody else sees it, let us know at 71010. No other major issues on the roads, no crashes or accidents, no waits at BC Ferries. And in the weather forecast, it is a mix of sun and cloud. We have a high temperature of 23, feeling cooler by the windy Wanda-Fuca Strait, but feeling a little warmer in the humidity today. And same conditions that we're seeing today and yesterday are going to play out for the next few days. We're in a very stable weather pattern still in Victoria.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip? Shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Scene Plus card. Save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in-store for details. All right.
I've got a life hack for you.
What's your life hack?
Based on what you just said there.
Okay.
So, we saw the price of gas today. If you haven't seen it yet, clutch your pearls.
Yeah, going up a little bit?
Well, 210.
Yeah.
That's 210 is on the Shell coming in. So that's about the price. However, I filled up on the weekend.
Yeah.
So if you have a BCAA card, you get 3 cents off a liter at Shell.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is helpful, right? If you shop Thrifties, and everybody's got to buy groceries, and you spend over a certain amount.
You got that Scene Plus card?
You'll get 10 cents off a liter.
Okay.
And you do a combo.
Oh, you combo move it.
That's all right. That, and then you can do the Scene Plus as well, so you get points.
Right.
Now, I know points. Some people love them, people hate them. But I got 13 cents off a liter.
It's not bad.
Well, it's cold comfort, but it's something. So consider that. BCA card, your basic BCA card, the one that gets you 3 cents off. But if you run out of gas, they'll tow you for you.
Look at all that winning.
Well, if you're running low on gas, maybe just call BCA.
Yeah, another texter at 71010 saying, yeah, we saw gas in Colwood 2099 yesterday at the Petrocan. So it's going up again.
It's at 210 pretty much.
Yeah.
And if most of them are at 210, that's what I'm seeing. There's a smattering that are below. And diesel, of course, is, it's cost you a limb.
Yeah.
But 192 to 210 is where it's sitting.
Let us know what you see out there at 71010. Okay, one last thing about spiders. And I promise today's not going to turn into spider talk like it did yesterday, as much as I love that. That was fantastic. But we were just mentioning your follow-up, which is that you saw one in you hadn't seen one all season. Then you go into your house yesterday after our chat, and what's there on your wall and ceiling? A giant wolf spider. You took a picture, you sent it to me.
Is that a wolf spider?
It looked like it.
I don't know what it was.
It was
large.
Yeah, it looked like one of those guys. Texture, though, just letting us know, this was a tip we didn't get yesterday, that you can buy a long-handled spider catcher
I've seen that thing.
at Lee Valley Tools. So I've Googled this thing, and it's hilarious.
It is.
It's like a big, those picker-upper, little garbage picker-upper devices you have, those big long handles. It's got a little trigger you pull, and it closes a claw to grab garbage or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like that, except it has like a little basket at the end that I guess you just trigger and it closes the basket.
There's
So
also
squish
when you
the spider, it just sort of traps it.
Okay. There's also one you can get that's got a vacuum. It's a long handle with a vacuum, or just use your vacuum if you so choose.
At that point, just use the vacuum. Yeah.
Then you know where the spider went. But there's one and it's a clear tube. So I guess you can watch his ascent. He's thinking he's going to heaven. I'm not sure if that's going to work out that way. There's many ways to deal with them. Most people who can't stand them, I feel for you, because this is the time of year, and there's no easy way to deal with them.
Yeah. The spiders. Texter at 71010 says, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. If you'd like to see a big spider, Google Huntsman spider in Australia. They're the size of a dinner plate. Now, that's a real spider. Texter,
what?
I appreciate the advice, but I'm not going to Google that.
Why does I'm going to, because I'm just curious now, but why does Australia have to do like animals on steroids? Like, it does big and bitey.
I know. Australia, it definitely wins when it comes to the freaky spiders and other creatures. Texter says, lol, I have a little battery-operated vacuum I use to clean the dust from the smoke detectors. I use the same vacuum for the spiders.
So apparently faulty smoke detectors, a lot of it is blamed on spider webs.
Oh, because they get in there and they gum up the works?
They do their thing. They're busy inside. It's a home. And, they end up sometimes creating faulty fire alarms because of it. So firefighters are always aware of that when they come to clean, that they might be dealing with spiders and spider webs.
This texture
I think it's a danger pay.
This texture says, vacuum the spiders. I would not make a friendly witch.
Yeah. Well, witches use them in potions, so I don't think it turned out well for the spiders on that one either.
Oh, man, so good. Okay.
Yes. Where were we?
Oh, there's another one. Not to gross you out more, but did you see?
But we're going to.
Not to gross you out
Put
more.
your spoon down.
But did you know we have scorpions in the Okanagan? That's it. That is worse than a spider.
What?
I don't know if I've seen them, but I think I knew that. I think I was aware.
Like a Suyas kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of in the
it's so
desert,
dry?
the desert regions. That makes sense.
I did not know that.
That's why I'm glad we have a moat around Vancouver Island. Some creatures can stay over on that side.
Like we have marmots and otters.
Yeah.
Non-bitey, super cute.
Yeah.
We have raccoons, too. We don't have Jimothy, but we do have the raccoons.
Lisa, I think the spider was waiting for you, thinking you might want to interview them. When the interview didn't happen, they left.
Didn't happen. Yeah, he was a bit pan-faced, didn't have much to say. Just staring me down.
We love it when you join the conversation at 71010. Couple of other texts real quick, just that are not related to spiders. A little bit of a listener mailbag we're doing here. This texter says, hey, Ryan and Lisa, what time is Bonnie Henry speaking about wildfire smoke? Good point. That's something we're watching for today. Our chief medical health officer in BC, Dr. Bonnie Henry, is going to do a news conference, I believe, around 11 this morning, talking about wildfire smoke and health risks and issues surrounding it. So that'll be coming up later today in the news. Follow The news right here on CFAX to find out more once it happens around 11. Another texter at 710 just wants to say a nice thing. My granddaughter who lives in Nanaimo had the honor of being chosen to travel with the SFU band. She plays a big bass drum, and I'm so proud of her.
Oh,
that's very nice.
She was over in Scotland.
It's very nice.
That's so cool. I thought it was so cool when they announced him the heavy Scottish brogue, making the announcement that Canada had won.
Yeah.
Yay, Canada.
This texter says, lol, the best news I've heard all day that we have a moat around our island.
It's true.
And then this texter says, please stop the spider talk from Lori. I think we're done. I think that's it, Lori. Don't worry. We've got it out of our system.
You sure, Ryan? You started
I'm not
it.
sure. I did start it, and I could do it again. But at the moment, at least, I think we're done because it's time for the 7 o'clock news.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 7 o'clock on this August 18th. Good morning. Welcome to the day. The weather's much like yesterday. Right now, 12 degrees. Got you a full forecast coming in just a moment. Right now, let's get to the news, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Time ticking down. Less than 24 hours to the deadline for Donald Trump's new 50% tariff threats. Officials say there's still more work to be hammered out in negotiations. Yesterday, talks reached a new level with the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick joining in on a nearly 2-hour-long meeting. CTV's Mike Lecouture has the latest.
Canadian officials tell CTV News the relief on sectoral tariffs being offered by the U.S. doesn't go far enough. Lowering tariffs on the steel, aluminum, auto, and lumber sectors has been a key demand by Canada. One U.S. source says the American side might consider a 12.5% tariff on autos.
Ontario will be prepared for any and every scenario, but this is why I have been pushing so hard for a united Team Canada response to this attack.
BC also looking at how it's going to make a dent in our province. Prime Minister Mark Carney told reporters yesterday that he expects to speak with Donald Trump ahead of the deadline tomorrow and that there are plans in place if Donald Trump does go ahead with these tariffs. A new Palestinian ambassador to Ottawa says Canada's recognition of the state of Palestine has been pivotal for her people and for upholding international law. But Feda Abdel Hadi says Canada must do more to end Israel's occupation.
My message to Canadians is that they do have a role in giving hope to the Palestinian people. The Canadian government's positions in the past year have reflected a better understanding of the plight of the Palestinian people.
Abdel Hadi's predecessor finishes her post last fall as Prime Minister Mark Carney officially recognized the state of Palestine nearly a year ago. Disney has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration's Federal Communications Commission, alleging a violation of its First Amendment rights. The suit comes after FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said on Friday that he defended the agency's actions against ABC, saying broadcasters have a duty to operate in the public interest, and the FCC is merely trying to restore that standard. ABC has accused the agency of brazen attempt to chill its constitutionally protected free speech. The FCC launched a review in April of 8 ABC local broadcast licenses well before they expire. A memorial is growing outside the South Carolina home of actress Hayden Panettiere. ABC's Sophie Flay says her cause of death remains under investigation.
Police say an acquaintance called 911 Sunday afternoon. First responders found her in cardiac arrest, and she was pronounced dead roughly 40 minutes later. An autopsy found no signs of trauma, and police say there's no indication of foul play. A cause of death is still undetermined, and toxicology results could take months.
Hayden Panettiere was just 36 years old. She lives behind an 11-year-old daughter. A pivotal trial for Meta Platforms kicking off in California federal court. Proceedings expected to begin today and last about 6 to 8 weeks. Attorney generals from California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey are seeking extensive financial damages, plus changes to how the company operates Facebook and Instagram. 29 states sued the tech giant 3 years ago over child safety and privacy. Their 25 will go to trial later. The company also faces lawsuits in state courts. Meta said in a statement that it believes it has a strong case to move forward. Voting underway for the second annual Greater Victoria Little Library Awards. Little Free Libraries are homemade book exchanges, boxes found outside of homes, schools, businesses operating on the simple aspect of leave a book, take a book. Teal Phelps Bondaroff, the Pocket Projects lead and the Greater Victoria Placemaking Network lead, also says the libraries come in all shapes and sizes.
We have 1,040 for books in the region, but there's also little libraries for seeds and plants, 34 in fact. There's puzzle and board game libraries, 29 of those. There's little free libraries for art and art supplies. There's 16, and I just found a brand new one the other day on Earl Grey Street. And there's little libraries for yarn and toys and household items and food and pet supplies. And then some little libraries specialize in books of poetry, books for kids, fantasy books, French books, and more.
They grow faster than blackberry bushes around here. 59 little free libraries nominated across 10 categories. If you want to vote, you have until September 8th, and the winners will be announced on September 13th. That's your news to 7:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, how often do you give a book or take a book from a little free library in your neighborhood? 26% say occasionally, 13% often, and 61% never do. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:07.
Thanks, Lisa. We have sunshine on the way today, a few clouds, and in downtown Victoria right now, a temperature of 13 degrees. CFAX 1070 Sports. We'll start with the Victoria Shamrocks, the senior team, because we actually got two Shamrocks teams we're following right now as they do things in their kind of postseason era. So for the senior Victoria Shamrocks, they're in the WLA final against the Coquitlam Adnacs. Game 2 was last night. Adnacs win it 8-6. Victoria won the first game, so the series is now tied up at 1 game apiece. Oh, by the way, last night's game 8-6, the score for Coquitlam. Game 3 now goes tomorrow night back at the Q Center. Puck drop at 6:30. At the junior level, Minto Cup continuing in Calgary. The host Raiders lacrosse team defeated the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks 5-2 last night. That's the second loss now in the first 2 games for the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks, but they still got a couple more of these round-robin stage games before we figure out where things sit. In baseball, with 7 wins in the last 10 games, the Toronto Blue Jays are only a half game out of a wild-card berth as they open up a 6-game series, or I should say a 6-game stretch of games, including a couple of series in the next 6 days in Florida. The Jays open up a 3-game set against the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays to kick things off. And FIFA says their chief operating officer has reportedly left his role weeks after accusing President Gianni Infantino of deceiving the staff with this World Cup sell-off plan that caused such a stir. Kevin Lamore is his name. He gave a statement to the Associated Press this month defending colleagues amid the fallout from Infantino's plan to sell stakes in future World Cup profits to private equity funds. Britain's Associated Press reporting yesterday that FIFA confirmed Lamore's departure. Infantino did eventually withdraw that $20 billion proposal after backlash from the global soccer community. That's your CFAX Sports 2709. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Well, on the roads, no major incidents right now. No crashes, no major delays other than folks taking it easy through the construction zone and the Trans-Canada Highway. The biggest traffic warning I have is not for the roads. It's for the Gorge Waterway. Yes, we have water traffic today because they've got a full closure of the Gorge Waterway just to the west of the Selkirk Trestle. If you've been over the Trestle, you've seen this. They got all these big booms blocking things off. They're doing that big trench conduit that they're installing for the BC Hydro cable, which is going under the gorge. It's going to be going on all this week. They say at the earliest they might be able to get it done by the weekend, although it could go right up until mid next week. So for boating traffic, watch out. You can't get through there. Construction delays in the summer, even affecting boats. For the BC Ferries, speaking of boats, 7 o'clock sailing just left. It still had room left. The 8 o'clock sailing is looking good too. For the weather forecast, it is a mix of sun and cloud. We will see a little wind off the Wanda-Fuca Strait, cooling things off. So our high temperature is 23, but cooler if you're by the water, but some humidity back in the air, making it feel a little warmer if you're inland. So, you know, the tale of multiple temperatures, as Victoria often is. And that's going to continue for the next few days. We still look very stable right through until the weekend where we get a little cloudy. So far, still not any rain in that forecast, just some clouds. Right now, we're sitting at 13 degrees. Taking a look at the markets. So what's going on as we get early into this trading day? Things are down. S&P TSX down 103 to 36,564. The Dow Jones in New York is down 40 to 53,419. Canadian dollar is right now at 72.1 cents US, which is basically where we left things off yesterday.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
And on CFAX 1070 all this week, we are all about Guns N' Roses. We got Guns N' Roses tickets to give away right here on the morning show all this week, every day. And Josh and Jade in the afternoon also have tickets to give away every day to see Guns N' Roses playing at BC Place Stadium Saturday, August 29th. I love how many tickets we got. We got tickets everywhere.
It's like, you know, Ticketry. We got a ticketry in the back.
Yeah. Now, for the morning show, here's how we're doing it. We're playing a little bit of Axl Rose karaoke, little Guns N' Roses karaoke. If you call us after 8 o'clock and sing a little bit of a Guns N' Roses song, if you want to, do your best Axl Rose impersonation. We were trying it a little bit yesterday, Lisa. It was pretty good.
Yes.
So that's what's going to be coming up after 8 if you want another chance to win. Yeah, because we got tickets every day this week.
Yes.
And so do Josh and Jade in the afternoons.
Right. So you come on and you be brave and be silly and have some fun with us.
Yeah.
And we'll give you tickets.
Exactly. It's very good. It's very good. The other thing I want to update, and we're going to actually talk to Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santa's Anonymous, in just a moment about this. But the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 continues. Our jackpot is up and over $23,000. It was a 22 when I looked at it yesterday. Now we're up over 23,000. To be specific, 23,480. That's the jackpot. Winner takes half of this. Christine is going to join us in a few moments to talk a bit about the jackpot, a bit about what the Kids Count program is doing to help children and families around Greater Victoria all year round. That's what Kids Count is, helping kids beyond Christmas.
Yeah.
And the money raised here is going to help out that. I mean, for instance, last week I rode on a horse at the Victoria Therapeutic Riding Association.
Pongo.
Pongo the horse. It was so good. And I got to really experience what that's all about for kids who need help with whether it be mental health challenges, whether it be physical disability challenges. It was amazing to learn all the things that riding a horse can do for you. I put a little video up on our TikTok. If you follow CFAX 1070 on TikTok, I went back and found a video of me riding the horse.
Cool.
So if you want to see what that was like and what this place looks like, follow CFAX on TikTok. If you're a TikTok user, we got videos up there, including highlights from this show. You can also follow us on YouTube. You can like and subscribe. You can watch the show live if you want to on YouTube. Like and subscribe to us there.
We're way better than that, Fireplace channel.
It's kind of like the Fireplace channel, except with Ryan and Lisa talking at you.
I'm still back on we're way better, more
Way better.
exciting.
Way more exciting.
Yes, that's right.
You can also follow Ryan and Lisa, the podcast, on any of your favorite podcast services. We're everywhere. We're everywhere and better than the fire log. That should be the new tagline for the show. What's going on in the news, Lisa?
Or the fishbowl. BC's provincial health officer has a news conference scheduled for later this morning as wildfire smoke's warnings still blanket the province. Some areas much thicker than others. Bonnie Henry will speak at 11 o'clock this morning. The news conference will also include BC's emergency management and forestry ministers. It's happening in Vancouver. Those orange and yellow air quality warnings cover a good swath of the province due to fires burning near Boston Bar in the Caribou and Okanagan regions. More than 126 fires are burning across BC, including 19 across Vancouver Island. 8 of those are considered out of control. Excavators, that is, have begun demolition of the school. That was one of the sites of the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting in February. 8 victims died last winter in that shooting, including the shooter's mother and brother, who were killed at a nearby family home. Photos posted on social media show the excavators clawing at the building, scraps of metal piled on either side. The demolition of the school comes after the province and Ottawa pledged new money for a new school at different locations to help that community better heal from that terrible tragedy. And if you're looking to fill up the tank, you're going to have to do some driving. Strange, isn't it? It's counterintuitive, but prices are going up again, anywhere from $1.95 to $2.10 here for regular gas. And Canadians for Affordable Energy is predicting a 4-cent rise again, possibly at midnight. Diesel, of course, even more. The increase comes as there's been calls over the last few days for the federal government to extend that gas tax cut that is set to expire after Labor Day. The cut reduces the price of gas by 10 cents, even though we don't really seem to feel that at the pumps. That's your news to 7:16.
All right, we're going to tell you more about the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50. Christine from CFAX Santa's Anonymous joining us in just a moment. We'll also check traffic and weather. If you have a problem out there, text me at 71010. It looks like it's pretty smooth sailing for our major roads and at BC Ferries, but if you know otherwise, let me know. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather looking good for the start of the commute. No major delays or crashes or anything like that, other than the Gorge Waterway. If you're a boat commuter somehow, I don't know if that's a thing, but if you are on a boat of any kind, you can't go along the gorge just to the west of the Selkirk Trestle. They got the whole stretch blocked off as they do this BC Hydro cable work. So watch out. We got boat construction delays somehow today in Victoria, and it's going to go on for the next week or so. They could finish up early, they say, but at least a week is the time they're putting out there. For BC Ferries, no sailing rates right now. For the weather, we got a mix of sun and cloud today. Highs at the 23, a little cooler by the windy Juan-Tafica Strait, but feeling a little warmer with some humidity in the air again today. Tonight, a few clouds, lows to 13.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
I was mentioning, if you follow CFAX on TikTok, I put a video up yesterday of me riding that horse at the Victoria Therapeutic Riding Association last week. Texter says, "Good morning, Ryan. You looked amazing on the horse. That place is amazing. Our granddaughter was there for therapy." Oh, that's so cool. And I'm so glad they got to help your granddaughter. And Texter, thank you for watching our video. Pongo the horse really made me happy. I was enjoying.
Did you make him happy?
I don't know. I think Pongo just, obviously a therapeutic horse. Pongo knew what he was doing.
Always has a long face.
He was just there for you. He was there to make you feel good.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was a pretty horse.
Very good horse.
What kind of horse was he? Quarter horse?
I don't know horses. I'm so sorry.
I'm asking you the wrong questions.
It was a black and white horse.
Yeah, okay.
I got that much.
I thought he was quite pretty.
I don't know. Does Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Soundness Anonymous, remember what kind of horse it was? Christine, how you doing? Oh, sorry, Christine. Sorry, I had to push a button to make you come up. Christine, sorry about that. Good morning. Do you know what horse that was?
Good morning. I don't. Okay. But Pongo looks like a Dalmatian. So
yes, he does. That's what was so unique about him.
Yeah. Check out the video if you want to see Pongo the horse. Christine, Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. The jackpot as of this very moment is $23,530.
Oh, my goodness.
Winner takes half when we do the draw on Friday, August 28th. It's amazing to see, but we want to still see that number go higher, because not only could you win half that money, CFAX Soundness Anonymous and the Kids Count program gets the other half for things like the therapeutic horse stuff I was talking about.
I know. It's a win-win, really, and for our charity. It's been tough out there, and we want to make sure that we're able to still help the families we are committed to, because we're cruising into our 49th Christmas. I can't even believe that when I say that. And I'm still meeting people who started volunteering with us all those years ago.
Wow.
Can you believe it? I know. And I just, it's going to be a very, very busy fall time coming up, but we're still in summer. So, but with all the musings and talk about going back to school and all the rest of it, we start thinking in the same kind of vein. So
yeah, it's already kind of back at it for CFAX Soundness Anonymous. So what should we know about? What kind of stuff do you do right now to start preparing? Because, yeah, like you said, before you know it, kids are back in school. Our Christmas campaign starts to really get underway, helping those folks around Christmas time. It takes months to kind of get that thing up and running. So talk about what the next month or so looks like.
Great. Yeah, we are. We're very busy already, and we're getting ready to welcome people who want to come and volunteer with us on September 12th. That's a Saturday, and that'll be from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And we're going to hold that volunteer fair right at the building, at the station, on the lobby. So we're going to be welcoming anyone who thinks they might be able to contribute some of their time and skills to help us during such a very busy time as it is. There's all kinds of opportunities, from data entry. It takes a lot to process 1,200 families and the kids' wishes through. So you can imagine the different opportunities that are there for volunteerism. And then also the opportunity to do a little fundraising in your club or organization, and, of course, your office. We're always thinking about that ahead, and we hope that our listeners will do the same.
It's funny when we talk, because the number just went up again.
Oh, yeah.
We're at 23,530 now.
Oh, good stuff.
So,
oh, my goodness.
Hey, whoever's listening and just bought a ticket, thank you. That's great, because the more the more money we raise here, the more we can help CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
Of course.
Can I circle back, Christine, to that volunteer day you mentioned? If you wanted to come and just ask some questions, we here at CFAX 1070, we're in Esquimalt. We're right off of Esquimalt Road near the town center, Park Place actually, and Esquimalt Road is specifically where we're at. There's the lobby, but you've also got the Victoria Public Library branch for Esquimalt is there. There's the Esquimalt Roasting Company coffee shop right there off of the lobby. It's a real cool place to come check out. What a great moment to come down, get a coffee, see the library, learn about being a volunteer for CFAX Santa's Anonymous on September 12th, you said.
That's right. It's a Saturday, so we just wanted people to have the opportunity to come on the weekend, and a lot of our volunteers will be there too to greet you and talk about things. So, it's a really great opportunity to get to know opportunities to volunteer, which is a culture we want to hang on to. I mean, the three of us have talked yesterday about how important it is to give back and how people are doing so, and that's another way that you can help. So
that's great.
What's unique about being a volunteer this year?
I'm sorry, what was our...
What's unique about being a volunteer for Santa's this year? Like, what's happening that you want to get involved this year?
Well, you want to get involved because it's a really family-style organization. Once you're part of Santa's Anonymous, you're kind of hooked. You're hooked on the opportunity because people who love to do this really do love to do it. And you learn so much about things you might not have known about in our community and who is helping and whose feet are on the ground and how Santa's helps fire and police, comfort kids with gift boxes and how wonderful it is to see Christmas come together. We have a lot coming up, that's for sure.
And another thing that we do with CFAX Santa's Anonymous, or I should say a lot of people will do to help CFAX Santa's Anonymous, is they might start organizing fundraisers within their own offices. And is this the time where people start thinking about that? I know, again, Christmas seems far away, but do people start getting that rolling early, like nowish?
Yeah, they sure do.
Right.
And it's interesting. People who I see doing this are youth. I see them out there with their lemonade stands and washing cars. And I even had a youngster come by and offer to cut our grass.
Aww.
I mean, I know it just brought it back. Like, yeah, there are everybody wants to kind of do things. And this is raising money. They were raising money. Each one of those things I saw in the last few weeks for something, so not just themselves. And I think that's the culture we want to keep here in Greater Victoria because it's a town that really does care.
So if people want to find out more, get involved in any of this stuff, where can they go?
CFAXSantas.com.
Oh, so easy. Look at that.
And the 50-50. Let's talk about 10 days from now, the deadline.
10 days. I think oh my goodness, this is going to be just such an exciting event. Seeing someone who took the time to just take a chance and win-win. Like I say, it's a great opportunity to help us here and help the kids at Therapeutic Riding and our breakfast program at the food banks.
Feeding the kids, doing all these things. Christine Goodsir with CFAX Santa's Anonymous, always great to touch base. And we started the conversation with the simple question, what kind of horse was Pongo? And Texter at 71010 has the answer.
Okay.
A striking black and white leopard, Appaloosa gelding.
He's Appaloosa,
Oh, beautiful.
I love listeners. They have all the answers. It's great.
He's a special pony.
Check it out. We got a TikTok video of me on the horse if you want to look. If you follow CFAX on TikTok or YouTube or any of those platforms. And Christine, until next time, we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
7:30 News with Lisa next.
Turn up the summer vibes with Blackfly and CFAX 1070's Beachside Giveaway. We're hooking you up with the ultimate day in the sun package. Includes a backpack cooler, magnetic Bluetooth speaker, beach blanket, plus tank tops and sunglasses to keep you looking cool. Listen to Afternoons with Josh and Jade on CFAX 1070 every Friday for your chance to win. Details at CFAX1070.com. Must be 19 plus. Blackfly, Canadian born, Canadian owned, Canadian made. Blackfly makes it easy to find your flavor.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 7:30 on Tuesday, August the 18th. Looking at a day that looks just like the last few days. We got mostly sunny skies, few clouds, and temperatures into the mid-20s. We'll give you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, though, it is time for the news, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan, and good morning. BC Court has awarded more than $1 million in damages to a couple in Souk after a 2022 shooting left a man with permanent injuries and his wife traumatized. Anthony Nelson was shot at close range by a neighbor, Paul Traeger, who was later convicted of aggravated assault and firearms offenses. The court awarded Nelson $760,000, his wife more than $279,000, while also ordering Traeger to repay about $64,000 in provincial health care costs. The judge criticized Traeger for continuing to dispute responsibility despite his criminal conviction and found his conduct showed a callous disregard for the suffering of the couple. We're a day closer to that deadline for Donald Trump's 50% tariff threats. The one thing we do know is that trade talks have intensified and they're apparently called delicate. Yesterday, a nearly 2-hour meeting in Washington involved key members of the Trump administration. CTV's Michael Couture is following the latest developments.
Canadian and American trade representatives took negotiations to the office of Howard Lutnick. It's the longest the two sides have negotiated since talks intensified over the last 2 weeks. When the two sides emerged, it was clear there's more left to do.
We're going to continue working. Our job is not yet done.
Part of that work could be done by Prime Minister Mark Carney, who said,
Frankly, we'll have opportunities over the next 48 hours to discuss in more detail as the negotiations go forward, and I think that's the best forum.
Canadian officials say so far the relief the U.S. has offered on sectoral tariffs impacting the lumber, steel, aluminum, and auto industries doesn't go far enough. We're going to hear more on this from BC Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jen Riley. She'll be live at 8:50 to talk about the BC industries bracing for these potential tariffs to come on Wednesday. In face of tomorrow's deadline, gas prices are going up again. If you've noticed at the pumps, the average price right now for regular gas is $2.10 a litre. Diesel set to climb again too, and we might get a hike in regular gas too. Later this week, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy, Dan McTagg, says prices could rise another 2 to 3 cents on Thursday again, so keep a watch and fill up when you can. The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales in July were down compared to a year ago, but edged slightly higher month over month.
CREA says home sales last month were down 5.3% from the previous year, but ticked up 0.5% when compared with June. CREA's senior economist says that below the surface of the headline national numbers, markets across the country are generally moving back toward balance. The national average sale price of a home sold in July was nearly $675,000, inching up on a year-over-year basis. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
The social media giant Meta in court again today, facing a lawsuit from nearly 30 state attorney generals, which argue features on Facebook and Instagram have had a negative effect on people's mental health, especially kids and teens.
In court filings, Meta estimates it could be forced to pay damages up to $1.4 trillion if it loses this case, though Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers has called that number unreasonable, according to the outlet Law 360. Meta recently revealed it spent $2.4 billion on legal expenses in the second quarter of 2026 alone. And while that's relatively small potatoes for such a large company, it could add up, with hundreds of similar cases expected to go to trial in the coming months. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
And entertainment news. Madonna leads the 2026 MTV Video Music Award nominations. The network announcing the pop star has been nominated in every decade of her musical career.
It's good for the soul.
She has 19 competitive MTV VMA Award wins and in 1986 became the first solo female artist to receive the Video Vanguard Award. Madonna up for 11 awards at this year's ceremony, including Video Artist and Song of the Year, as well as Best Collaboration, Dance Direction, Art Direction, Cinematography, Editing, Choreography, and Visual Effects. If this is a sweep, she'll tie Beyonce and Taylor Swift for title of Most Awarded Musician in VMA history. They have 30 apiece. That is your news to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. How often do you give a book or take a book from the Little Free Library in your neighborhood? 13% say occasionally, 26%, actually I think that 13% say often, 26% occasionally, and 60% say they never do. You can vote at cfax1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:36.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. We're warming up into the day. We're at 13 in downtown Victoria, 12 at the airport. CFAX Morning Show brought you by QP Vancouver Island, delivering the public services island communities rely on. QP, better services, better communities. What's happening in the wide world of sports? Lots going on. We'll start with the Blue Jays. They're back at it today after a few breaks. They're opening up a 6-game road swing tonight with its playoff hopes gaining momentum. Blue Jays have won 7 of 10, enter their series against the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays, just a half game back of a wild card spot. So that's coming up tonight. In lacrosse, Victoria Shamrocks, the senior team, dropping Game 2 of the WLA Final Series against the Adnax in Coquitlam by a score of 8-6. So we're tied up at 1 game apiece now in the series. Game 3 goes tomorrow night back at the Q Center, so going back to Colwood. Puck drop at 6:30 tomorrow. Now that's the senior Shamrocks. We've also got the junior A Shamrocks in action at the Minto Cup, which is being hosted by Calgary this year. They played their second of the round-robin games yesterday, and Victoria Shamrocks losing to the host Raiders lacrosse team 5-2. Still a couple more round-robin games coming up for the Junior A Shamrocks. Serena and Venus Williams playing their first doubles match together since the 2022 U.S. Open, losing a thriller to Marta Kustyuk and Peyton Stearns on last night at the Cincinnati Open. After splitting the first 2 sets, the sisters nearly recovered from a 6-0 deficit in the match tiebreaker before a double fault by Venus ended their first doubles appearance in a non-Grand Slam event since the Italian Open in 2016. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports. It is 7:38. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. The morning show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home in the matter of the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, still fairly uneventful, which is the way you want it on the morning commute. No crashes or accidents that I can see from here. You can text me at 71010 if you see otherwise. A bit of a slowdown per usual. Trans-Canada Highway heading into Victoria, slowing down through the construction zone. We're actually seeing some delays on Souk Road as well, kind of coming in that route. So people are commuting today. It's nothing unusual, but summer has sometimes been a little bit easy. Today looks like a proper West Shore commute coming into Victoria. And for the weather forecast, a mix of sun and cloud today. We will see wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Highs of 23 unless you're by the windy water. Humidex of 28, so feeling warmer if you're in the humidity, kind of inland. And for tonight, lows down to 13 degrees. Mainly sunny again tomorrow with similar temperatures. Same again on Thursday. Friday, clouds rolling in, and Saturday and Sunday look overcast. Right now, it is 13 degrees for most of Victoria. We're kind of seeing, as always, varied temperatures. A little warmer up in Shawnigan Lake, where it is 14 now. On the markets, S&P TSX down 37 points to 53,421. The NASDAQ is down by 314 now to 26,329. And for the Canadian side of the border, the S&P TSX in Toronto down 139 to 36,528. The Canadian dollar is at 72.1 cents US, basically where we left it yesterday.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yesterday on the show, we talked to 11-year-old Anders and mom Susanna about the lemonade stand they were going to be holding in front of their house in Gordon Head. They've been doing this for a few years, raising money for the Victoria Hospitals Foundation. Well, I got an update. I heard from mom Susanna, who's told us that after the fundraising was all over yesterday, they raised more than $1,600 for the Victoria Hospitals Foundation.
Phenomenal.
Oh, it was so cute. I really enjoyed talking to Anders and mom Susanna yesterday. I loved what he was describing with pride the lemonade he makes from fresh lemons. He squeezes them. His mom makes like a syrup and they add it to the freshly squeezed lemon juice.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It's interesting because we've been talking to him over the years since he lost his father, and this is what sparked this lemonade stand to raise funds for the people that helped his father. And when we first spoke to him years ago, he wouldn't say a peep.
Yeah.
Understandably, and he was much younger now. He's promoting his product. He's excited. He's proud of what he's done, and you can hear the joy and pride in his mother's voice too.
Yeah.
The fact that he's come through this, in a way that is such a tragedy to lose a parent, especially at a young age. And, it's low-hanging fruit for us, but talk about making lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
This child has survived and thrived, and we support him every year with this. It's so sweet. You see the lemonade stands around town, support these kids. It's their first entrepreneurial effort. You never know where it's going to go.
I remember when I was a kid, I had the idea of going down to the corner store and buying a bunch of the little 5-cent candies that you could get, and then turn around and sell them for 10 cents. So I set up a little stand in front of my house on the street, and with my marked up candies.
Yes.
There was a fatal flaw in my plan, though.
Oh.
We live on a very quiet street.
Yeah.
Or at least we did when I was growing up.
I've seen that with kids. They're at the end of a dead-end street.
Not a lot of thoroughfare going through.
Yeah, you got to get sort of out in traffic where it's safe, but still somewhere where people are actually going to be able to find you.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think Anders has got it right, though. Right there in Gordon Head, raising $1,600. Texter says, I'm not crying. It's just smoky tears, I swear. Yeah, it is a very touching story.
It is. It's huge. And here's a child in our community that we have supported over the years. If you bought a lemonade from any kid out there, you just never know who they're going to grow up to be. And this little guy is just a gem. So thank you for sharing that story, because I know year after year, his mom had said that yesterday was the anniversary of the loss of her husband.
Yeah.
It's so hard. But, putting on a brave face and trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Turning that into a positive day. That's really cool. It's 7:45. Time for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
We're going to be watching at 11 this morning. BC's top public health doctor, Dr. Bonnie Henry, is set to give an update on the health effects of all the wildfire smoke that's been circulating across our province. She'll be joined in Vancouver by Emergency Management Minister Kelly Green. Forest Minister Ravi Parmar will also be in attendance. Much of southern BC has spent weeks under those air quality warnings. Just look at firesmoke.ca, and it looks like some areas are just covered in brown, which is really, really difficult smoke conditions to live in. Boston Bar, Clinton, the Okanagan region, just to name a few. The orange air quality alert is in place for the Fraser Canyon and the Coquihalla corridor. This is many people still are heading out for late summer vacations with their families. Environment Canada says conditions leading to the elevated warning could persist for another 24 hours. In the BC wildfire status, we have 126 fires burning. 46 are out of control. There's been a dozen new start in the last 24 hours. A number of those on Vancouver Island. We've jumped again from 15 yesterday to 19 fires now burning on the island, including 8 considered out of control. Most are up island in wilderness areas. And firesmoke.ca shows wildfire smoke levels will be light across Greater Victoria today, clearing around 7 tomorrow night into the overnight hours on Wednesday. Excavators have begun demolition of the school that was the site of the Tumbler Ridge mass shootings last winter. 8 people died in the February mass shooting, including the shooter's mother and brother, who were killed in a nearby family home. The demolition of the school comes after the province and the federal government pledged funding to build a new school for students at a different location to help further the healing in that community. And OpenAI has launched a new version of ChatGPT for teens. The San Francisco-based company says ChatGPT for teens will restrict content around issues like suicide, self-harm, and romantic or sexual chats. It also provides homework and study support designed to help students learn rather than just spit out answers in school essays. Parents and child development experts have sounded the alarm over children's use of AI chatbots, leaning heavily on them and blaming them for facilitating cheating in schools and even suicide. That's your news to 747.
In the news this week, we've been talking about a fire that broke out at a historic building in Cumberland. This took place late Sunday. The building, quite well known in Cumberland and beyond. It's the building that hosted the Riding Fool Hostel. It seems the fire started in Dodge City Cycles, and according to the fire chief, one firefighter even injured his shoulder while crews were responding to this blaze. Last we heard, still under investigation, but what's the latest in this, and how important is this building to Cumberland? What does the loss of such a historic building mean for the local area? We're going to talk to the mayor of Cumberland next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. We've got a mix of sun and cloud in the weather, becoming even sunnier as the day goes on. Temperatures to hit about 23 degrees, a little cooler by the water with some wind blowing and a humidex of 28, so feeling even warmer if you're kind of away from those breezes and feeling the humidity. That's much like the last few days. It's much like the next few days. We're just staying in this very stable weather pattern for Greater Victoria. A few clouds tonight, lows down to 13, and then tomorrow mainly sunny skies. Same again for the temperatures. Same again on Thursday. The change comes Friday. We'll start to cloud over a little bit. Saturday, Sunday looking cloudy as well. No rain in the forecast at the moment, at least. Just overcast skies a bit as we head in towards the weekend. Right now for the temperatures, downtown Victoria still at about 14 degrees. The official temperature at the Victoria International Airport is still 12.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, we're trying to make contact with the mayor of Cumberland. We'll keep trying. Vicki Brown is the mayor, and she's scheduled to talk to us because they had a fire at that building. The Riding Fool Hostel is there. The Dodge City Cycles is next door. Some historic buildings for the town of Cumberland. So we're kind of curious about how the community is feeling right now. What else do we know about the fire? So we'll see if we can make contact. But yeah, that's a story that people have been following, Lisa, because if you know Cumberland, it's a cute little community, and it's got to be. It's a small place, though. A building like this going up will really make a difference.
Yeah, the Main Street of Cumberland is like the main street of any small town that you have, and historic buildings, wooden sidewalks, a great brewery. But I've stayed at the Riding Fool.
You
hostel.
have?
I have.
Really?
Numerous times, and fantastic hostel. Once they rebuild, hopefully they are. And the damage is not too extensive. I hope you have a chance to stay there too. What a lot of people want, the draw to stay at that hostel, is it's about a city block from all the riding trails that start. So the reason why it's called the Riding Fool Hostel is so many people go up there and go cycling for the weekend or the week.
And like mountain biking around the trails?
Back trails are phenomenal up there on Forbidden Plateau and all those areas. So just beautiful backcountry riding, and it is right on the doorstep of that. So, you'll find on any given weekend, there's always something happening at that hostel. Great games room, great pool table, and a historic old building. They have these great little rooms where you share a bathroom, but nobody gets in anybody's way. And it's really well appointed. Massive kitchen, so you can make your own breakfast, make your own meals, and come home after a long day of riding and share all your stories. And it's right kitty corner is at I'm trying to think of the hotel now, where there's always bands there too. So weekends are pretty fun in Cumberland. It's a great little community and very close-knit because it is so much smaller. And all along that main route, they even have some historic buildings that are just sort of the fronts that are vintage buildings from the past, where it's sort of a museum, an exterior museum, if you will, that you can sort of tour. And lots of history in that community. And a lot of people moving up there, too, because prices are a little better than they are here. And it's a playground for anybody who loves the outdoors.
Now, you said you stayed there. Were you on a motorcycle in this case?
No, I was not. I was with cycling crew at the time.
Oh, you were cycling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kitsch is the word. It's just a darling community. And, there's a record shop. There's the brew pub with great food and, great gastro, endeavors. And they make great beer in Cumberland. They do have its own brewery. And I can't say enough good things about Cumberland because people are friendly. It's small town vibes because it is that. And just a lot of wood structures. So with that, an incident like this, unfortunately, really puts it on the map. And I'm so relieved that firefighters got a handle on it before it got out of control, because the kind of building that is, which is pure wood, all wood, I could see it going up very quickly if they hadn't rushed there and acted as quickly as they had. What caused it, we don't know. They said it was, it's the cycling shop downstairs has been established there for quite a while. Whether it was a product or something that caught, I'm hoping it wasn't anything that was suspicious, but until they find out exactly what caused it, of course, anything's possible, but it looks like it may have just been an accident, and I'm hoping that is the case, especially for Cumberland's sake. I mean, they're, 10 kilometers from Courtenay, exactly?
Yeah,
something like that.
I do love the whole Courtenay, Comox, Cumberland.
It's wonderful.
Sort of collection of places. They're just far enough to be their own things, but close enough that you can easily zip around between them. It's neat to... I love that part of the island.
The charm of that community and others around it is really off the hook. It's if you haven't been to Cumberland before, I highly recommend at least a visit, even if you can't stay there. There's other places to stay. There's Airbnbs everywhere in that area because there's always festivals and events going on up there. And they do have major events, too, in Cumberland proper. So it's worth checking out and showing a little support for our local communities.
Right. Well, hey, we'll try to catch up with the mayor of Cumberland at a later date. The Riding Fool Hostel, Dodge City Cycles, all in this old historic building in Cumberland going up in flames. Like Lisa said, firefighters did manage to get it out, but not before some heavy damage was done, and an investigation continues into the cause. We will follow that. We are also, of course, following the Guns N' Roses ticket giveaway as we're doing it right here. Let's give people a bit of a heads up about this. So in a few minutes, right after the 8 o'clock news, we're going to get you to call the number. And actually, I was walking my dog yesterday, and somebody walking by said, "Hey, you were giving out the number," and I couldn't quite catch it. So I'm going to, for the people who I passed on the street yesterday, 250-386-1161. That's 250-386-1161. That's the number you want to call in just a few minutes if you want to win the Guns N' Roses tickets. How are you going to win them? Well, you're going to sing for us some kind of Guns N' Roses song. Do your best, Axl Rose. We'd love to hear your interpretation.
Have some fun with
Anything will work. I mean, it could just be as simple as, welcome to the jungle. Just whatever you want to do.
Take me down to the Paradise City.
That one. Yeah, it's all you need to do. It's simple as that. We'll do it right after the news, sports, traffic, and weather coming up in just a few moments. If you want to go see Guns N' Roses, BC Place Stadium, Saturday, August 29th. Well, we also got the 8 o'clock news with Lisa in just a few moments, so stand by. So much to come on the show.
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Tuesday, August 18th, a day that looks much like all the others in the weather with just some sunshine, temperatures into the mid-20s, a few clouds here and there. A full forecast is coming your way in just a moment. Right now, though, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Good morning. A fire did heavily damage the historic downtown Cumberland building that houses a bicycle shop at the base and the Riding Fool hostel up top. Crews were called on Sunday night around 9:30 to the building at the corner of Dunsmuir Avenue and 2nd Street in the village. Officials say the fire appeared to have started in the cycle shop on the main floor of the building, of course, forcing several guests upstairs in the hostel to leave. Fire rescue of the community of Cumberland. Chief Mike Williamson says a firefighter did fall on the staircase inside the dark, smoke-filled building. He ended up with a dislocated shoulder. That's what they believe happened. Despite exterior and interior damage, crews maintained to contain the fire to the section where it started. The cause does remain under investigation, so we'll bring you the latest as it's available. BC Wildfire Update has 126 fires burning. 46 are out of control. 12 new starts the last 24 hours. 19 fires now on Vancouver Island. That's up from 15 yesterday morning. That includes 8 that are considered out of control. They are up island and in wilderness areas at this point. BC's top public health doctor, Dr. Bonnie Henry, is set to give an update at 11 this morning on the health effects of persistent wildfire smoke. She'll be speaking from Vancouver. Emergency Management Minister Kelly Green and Forest Minister Ravi Parmar will also speak. Much of southern BC has spent weeks under air quality warnings as major fires continue to burn near Clinton, Boston Bar, the Okanagan region, and Summerland. An orange quality alert, air quality alert, is in place also for the Coquihalla Corridor and the Fraser Canyon area. So if you're taking vacation over that way in the last bits of summer, you may want to check ahead, make sure the routes are open, and look at the smoke conditions you're heading into. Environment Canada says conditions leading to elevated warnings for smoke could persist for another 24 hours. Here in Greater Victoria, we've got light smoke conditions for the next 24 hours or so. And it looks like smoke will clear around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. The rising cost of groceries remained a major focal point on the latest report from Stats Canada yesterday, showing inflation rose to 3% in July. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth is at the grocery store with an eye on which items got even pricier.
We decided to go shopping. Cereal, pasta, bananas, seafood, chicken, and berries. Total price, $99.67. Barely enough to fill 2 small grocery bags. This shopper is getting creative to save money.
Try to buy in bulk, try to freeze things, do a lot of freezing, doing a lot of Googling of what can be frozen.
Food inflation at the grocery store actually cooled last month, but most shoppers say it wasn't really enough to notice. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he does expect to speak with the Prime Minister before tomorrow's tariff deadline. A 50% hike on many Canadian products is on the way. Carney was in St. John's, Newfoundland, Labrador yesterday announcing a new Churchill Falls agreement. He says he's sure speaking with Trump will happen today.
The way this is being conducted is the type of generational investment that gets everyone's attention, even the President of the United States.
Carney adds that the negotiations with the U.S. are very intense and delicate, and he said he would not be discussing any of that in public. The leader of the Parti Québécois says he still wants to hold a sovereignty referendum, but not while Donald Trump is U.S. president.
Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon says a PQ government would still call a referendum on whether Quebec should separate from Canada in its first mandate. But he says a debate on an issue as crucial as the future of Quebec should not be disrupted by American politics or surprise announcements from the U.S. president. He also says the unpredictable nature of the Trump administration could harm the referendum process, as well as the quality of a debate. Saint-Pierre Plamondon's been leading in recent public opinion polls, and Quebec must hold a general election before October 5th. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
And oil prices are climbing while talks with Iran are at a stalemate. Tension are growing with U.S. allies after the president threatened to bomb Oman if the negotiations with that country and Iran continued over the Strait of Hormuz and interferes with the White House goals. ABC News contributor and former U.S. ambassador to NATO, Doug Ludy, weighs in.
The rhetorical threat against Oman signals to the other Persian Gulf partners, so ranging from Oman through the Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, the Saudis, that the U.S. is increasingly adrift of trying to find a path between war and peace. And that path is so far very uncertain. And so the president speaks out even against close partners like Oman.
We're feeling that uncertainty at the pumps today. Greater Victoria, the prices have hiked in the last 24 hours. Some stations, quite a few actually, now posting $2.10 a litre for regular fuel. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. How often do you give a book or take a book from the Little Free Library in your neighborhood? About 15% say occasionally. I'd make that 15% say often do, 26% occasionally, and about 60% never do. You can vote now at cfax1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa. Best news time is 8:07.
We're moments away from giving away another pair of tickets to see Guns N' Roses coming to BC Place Stadium August 29th. Would you like to be there? We got tickets, but you got to call us at 250-386-1161 and sing a little bit of a Guns N' Roses song. It's Axl Rose karaoke for tickets if you want to do it.
You can get your cat to do it.
Yeah.
What?
I guess. As long as somebody says something.
Sometimes he sounds a bit like a cat.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll give you that.
Okay,
I'll
thank
give you
you.
that.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take that call in a few minutes. We got to do our traffic. We got to do our weather. We got to give you the stock numbers, and we got to tell you about the sports first. You need all the information first. What's going on in sports? Well, we've got the Victoria Shamrocks dropping Game 2 of the WLA final against the Adnax in Coquitlam. Score of 8-6 is Coquitlam's win. So Game 3 goes Wednesday night now at the Q Center with the puck drop at 6:30. And when we hit into that Game 3 in Colwood, it'll be a best-of-7 series tied at 1 game apiece. At the junior level, the Minto Cup continuing in Calgary. The host Raiders lacrosse team defeated the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks 5-2. That was the second of the round-robin games for Victoria. They've lost both now. They still got a couple more, though, so we'll see where things go from here. With 7 wins in the last 10 games, the Toronto Blue Jays are now only a half game out of a wild card berth as they open up a 6-game series, or I should say a 6-game set in 6 days. The first series is going to be against the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays. FIFA Chief Operating Officer reportedly has left his role weeks after the chief operating officer accused the president, Gianni Infantino, of deceiving staff with that whole World Cup sell-off plan. Some of the latest here, Norway's soccer president is condemning FIFA's firing of that chief operating officer. His name is Kevin Lamour, by the way. The Norway soccer president, calling it management by fear. Lamour was dismissed after accusing FIFA President Infantino of the deception. The project was abandoned last month following opposition from major regional soccer bodies. Yeah, so the fallout continuing there. That's your sports to 8:09. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading out on a summer road trip, shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Seed Plus card. Save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in store for details. Speaking of saving money on gas, that's one of the text messages we have been getting here. Just people observing that the prices have gone up again. $2.09.9 is the price we're seeing some gas stations get to. That started yesterday, it seemed. Some of our listeners, though, still spotting the lower price at the odd station. So that was the heads up. Thank you very much for texting in your observations here this morning. The traffic is looking fine. Otherwise, no crashes right now. Just regular volume delays out of the West Shore into Victoria. We do have the traffic on the water problem. This is not on the roads. This is the Gorge Waterway fully closed to marine traffic just to the west side of the Selkirk Trestle, where they're extending and doing that cable trench, the conduit for the BC Hydro cable. That's going in this week. So it'll be causing a full construction delay on the water all this week for the Gorge. The weather forecast looking like a mix of sun and cloud. Highs of 23, a little cooler by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait, a little warmer in the humidity. That humidity back in the air. It's a humidex of 28. Same forecast again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Clouds over a bit on Friday, Saturday and Sunday looking overcast, but dry so far. Right now, we're starting to warm up a little bit into the day. It's 13 degrees officially at the Victoria International Airport. Guns N' Roses tickets in just a moment. Right now, the stock numbers. What's happening in Toronto? S&P TSX still down 197 points at this hour to 36,470. The Dow in New York is down 32 to 53,426. NASDAQ is down 354 to 26,290. Canadian dollar at 72 cents even. Just a little up from yesterday.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
I always get a little nervous.
Do you?
Yeah, because, what's going to happen? I don't know.
Well, someone's going to win something.
250-386-1161. Now's the time to call. Call right now. I'm about to pick just a random ring that
Your
happens.
singing chops ready.
And somebody's going to sing for us a Guns N' Roses song, and they will walk home with a pair of tickets to see Guns N' Roses playing at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver in a couple of weekends. It's soon. Let's see. Phone lines are lighting up.
Okay.
And I'm taking that line. I've just picked
That sounds good.
Just picked one.
I like
Who's
that
this?
one.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Who's this?
Myra.
Hi, Myra.
Are you going to sing a Guns N' Roses song for us?
Oh, my goodness, I'll try.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Oh, sweet child of mine. Oh, 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 sweet love of mine. Sorry, that's all you're going to get.
That's pretty good, though. There we go.
You got it.
That was 100%.
Well, I'm a lot older than I'm older than him, so I'm
That's
more
okay.
nervous right now.
Are you a big fan of Guns N' Roses?
Oh, absolutely. Being
Okay.
Swedish and him too, yes.
Oh, you've got that connection.
Nice connection.
Very good.
He'll
Well-
know you're in the crowd.
Well, you're going to go to the show. You got a pair of tickets. Who are you going to take?
Oh, I'm sure I'll have offers now.
I love people who have that. Some people are just like, oh, I got to take my husband, because of course you do. But if you don't have that built in, you can totally see what kind of favors start coming your way, what
Yeah.
kind of, food starts showing
you
up.
have power now, Myra.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally. Yeah.
Who's volunteering to mow your lawn?
Yeah.
You got all sorts of
Cook
things,
you
Myra.
dinner.
Oh, this is wonderful. Yeah.
Well,
Congratulations.
hang on the line. I want to talk to you off the air. We'll get you some information about how you're going to get your tickets. Oh, wow. Okay, we're doing this again tomorrow, same time. So if you missed out today, don't worry. Try again. We would love to hear your best Axl Rose. Anything will do. We're not judging.
No.
We just want to enjoy
We're
it.
bad at it, too.
Yeah.
So just have fun with it. Could get you tickets.
Also, I should mention, Josh and Jade
Yes.
are giving away another pair of tickets. They have a whole different way of giving them away, though. They're not making you sing for it. They're making you do something else that involves dice. So that's coming up this afternoon. Josh and Jade will be your next chance to win, and then we'll do it again here on the morning show. But right now it's 8:15. Time for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Awesome. Crews fighting a large wildfire that continues to burn near Summerlin. The Bald Range Fire is successfully holding a blaze on 3 flanks while battling challenging conditions on the western flank. An update from BC Wildfire Service says the northwestern portion of that fire near the Princetown-Summerlin Road corridor has been a challenge, but there's been some considerable distance separating the fire from the community, which is good news. More evacuees were allowed to return home to Summerland after the 3 evacuation orders have been downgraded to alerts in a wide range of that community. Residents do remain on evacuation alert. They've been warned that there's still fires burning and that could upend plans without warning, but at least some residents have been able to return home to take stock. Across the province, we have 126 fires burning as of this morning, 46 of those considered out of control. There are 12 new starts in the last day, 19 fires now burning on Vancouver Island, 8 of those considered out of control. And firesmoke.ca shows wildfire smoke levels locally will be light across Greater Victoria today and then clearing completely around 7 o'clock tomorrow night into the overnight hours. So a bit of a reprieve for you on the way tomorrow night. So let's hope that holds. The clock ticking down on the start of the U.S. president's 50% tariffs on a wide range of Canadian goods. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Washington for a final push to try to avert this from coming to fruition. Prime Minister Mark Carney has called the negotiations very intense and very delicate, but he says the federal government has a plan to cover all eventualities if there is no deal. And we have to wish 70th wedding anniversary wishes to Marie and Patrick Grant today.
Ooh.
They were married on this day, August 18th, 1956. It was their daughter, Donna Flood, who reached out to us here at CFAX. She lives in Burton, New Brunswick, and she says her parents listen every day.
Aww.
So congratulations again, Marie and Patrick. We wish you all the best on your 70th wedding anniversary. Well done.
70th.
Isn't it special?
Wow.
That's incredible.
This year we did our 20th wedding anniversary. That's why I was away back in July. My wife and I were celebrating. 20 seemed like a big number. 70. That is amazing. Well done, you two.
Yes. Congratulations to Marie and Patrick again.
So good. Coming up next on the show, you were mentioning, of course, that the trade deadline is looming between Canada and the U.S. That sort of tariff onslaught that Donald Trump is threatening would kick in tomorrow unless something can get worked out. They're doing it fast and furious. So coming up at the end of the hour, we're going to be reaching out to the BC Chamber of Commerce, weighing in on what could be the ramifications if they can't find a way out of this for us here in BC. So that's at the end of the hour. Right now, though, have you ever heard of the company Juul?
Yes.
Yeah, they make the e-cigarettes.
Sure do.
And they've often gotten in trouble for they've been accused of things like, making them too
false marketing,
attractive to young folks, and false marketing and those things. Well, Juul Labs is appealing the certification of a class action lawsuit against them over allegations of, like you said, the deceptive marketing of e-cigarettes as a safe alternative to smoking. It's been a long saga. This has all started all the way back in 2019, so this has been in the news for a while, but there's this latest twist to it. We're going to talk to a reporter who's working on the story to get you up to speed on the latest in just a few moments after our traffic and weather. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather together. It is now 8:20 here on Tuesday morning, and the roads are looking pretty typical. No major crashes or accidents. We do have a boat traffic to tell you about if you are a marine user of the gorge, whether it's a paddleboard, whether it's a full-on motor vessel. Gorge closure to marine traffic just west of the Selkirk-Trestle while BC Hydro does the conduit for the cable that's going to be going on for a few days. If you have been by the Selkirk-Trestle at all recently, you've seen them setting up for that and stretching out those booms. Now over to our weather forecast, where we've got a mix of sun and cloud today. High is hitting 23 degrees. A little cooler by the water with some wind blowing, but a little warmer feeling with the humidity in the air again. Humidex at 28, same as it's been the last few days, and same as it will be for the next couple of days. Right now, we're starting to warm up into the day in Langford. It is 14 degrees. In UVic by the University of Victoria, it's 11.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at cfax1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, it's a long-standing legal saga for Juul Labs, a creator of e-cigarettes, and the BC court situation that they've been embroiled in. Now they're appealing at the certification of a class action lawsuit against them over those allegations of deceptive marketing of the e-cigarettes as a safe alternative to smoking. Somebody who's covering it closely is my next guest, Mark Page, legislative correspondent with the Black Press Media, joining us on the line right now. Sir, how you doing?
Ryan, good. Thanks for having me this morning.
Great to get you here. So I guess we got to set this up a little bit. So the latest is the appealing the certification of the class action lawsuit. But let's tell a bit of the backstory here. And for those who just don't know, who are Juul Labs and what's going on with this court case?
Well, Juul Labs is one of the largest e-cigarette makers in Canada and the U.S. They draw a lot of ire from the government and from those healthcare providers because they seemingly or allegedly they target youth by marketing through social media and things like that. There's we need to first understand, back up a little bit. There's actually two class action lawsuits working their way through BC courts right now against Juul Labs. This one that we're talking about today was brought by two individuals. One from BC, who he was a smoker when he was 15. Saw like some of these Juul ads, decided, hey, I'm gonna try these e-cigarettes. Says he got addicted. Says he got more addicted to nicotine than even when he was a smoker. And then there's another individual that's named on the suit from Ontario, and this is actually a national class action suit, although it's being argued in BC court. And then this fellow in Ontario says that he didn't smoke at all, and he was in his mid-20s and saw the advertisements for Juul, started smoking e-cigarettes, and became addicted. There's that one suit that's going through, and there's also another suit that the BC government has actually brought against the company, trying to recover healthcare costs related to e-cigarette use. This is similar to lawsuits against tobacco companies and opioid companies, where the individuals sue and also the province sues as well to try to recover some healthcare costs.
And the BC government has been seeing some success, not necessarily in this one, but in general, like suing tobacco companies for money as compensation for the healthcare costs. We have actually seen some of those work.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a big part of the context here is that these types of class action lawsuits are being used, again and again to target these sorts of companies. And this tobacco lawsuit that dates back to, a couple of these claims date back to 1998. They were finally settled last year, and there was actually three class action lawsuits involved there, and it resulted in a $36.5 billion payout. $3.6 billion of which the BC government is now added onto its yearly budget to help balance, or to help get a little bit closer to balancing the books. And then there's the opioid, there's also suits against opioid companies. Similarly, there's suits brought by individuals and brought by the province to recover, costs related to the opioid epidemic. So, that one has already gone to the Court of Appeals, similar to this one, certified as a class action, went to the BC Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals has affirmed the decision that it's a class action and sent the opioid suit back. So that one's a little further along than this one. This one here, the BC Supreme Court certified it as a class action. During that process, even Juul tried to appeal, but that was denied. But now it's been officially certified, and this appeal will need to be heard now before it can go to trial.
So it's just more of those, legal hoops to jump through. What is the next step here, or is there anything interesting out of that, or is it really just them going through the process? Of course they're going to appeal, but I guess we watch and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of a big part of the strategy sometimes of these companies here is to delay. I spoke with reporting on this Juul suit. I spoke with Rob Cunningham, who's with the Canadian Cancer Society, and his organization has covered and watched these tobacco lawsuits closely. They weren't involved in them, but they've obviously been watching them closely. And he says that's the tactic of tobacco companies. And Juul Labs is being sued here, but also Altria Group, which is an investor in Juul Labs, and they're the parent company of Philip Morris. So the tobacco companies are involved in the e-cigarette market as well. But Cunningham says that look, like the tobacco companies' MO here is to try to delay as much as possible because they don't want to end up having to pay one of these settlements. So if they can. They successfully delayed the main tobacco lawsuits for 27 years. So, this Juul Labs suit goes already back to 2019. That's 7 years. So, I think that they're trying to make those legal hoops last as long as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting how it kind of all ties in. We just heard, like you said, that BC budget update recently. The budget looking a little better than it did, in part because of a different tobacco lawsuit that's been paying out. Now we've got the BC government, as well as this class action lawsuit, both going after Juul Labs and investor Altria Group. So that court case, though, the class action side of it, because there's two, it gets confusing. There's the BC government one, there's the class action one. The class action one being appealed in court. So that's the latest there. But interesting just sort of touch base on all of this stuff still playing out. Anything else we've missed? Anything else important to note?
I think one of the interesting things about this Juul suit, and how it contrasts a little bit with the tobacco lawsuit and the opioid lawsuit, is that the harms that people experience from tobacco and from opioids, they're a little bit more obvious, right? I think it's not really a debate that cigarettes cause lung cancer, and everybody can look out on the street and see what the harms from the opioid crisis are. But with e-cigarettes, they're a lot newer. And the studies are just coming out. And a recent study that Rob Cunningham highlighted for me, in the journal Carcinogenesis, showed that there's a likely e-cigarettes likely cause oral cancer and lung cancer. And there's other studies show that they lead to smoking. People are more likely to smoke cigarettes if they previously smoked e-cigarettes. But it's not as settled as those other cases. So it'll be interesting how that plays out in court.
Hey, thanks so much for giving us all the information on these cases. Mark Page, legislative correspondent with the Black Press Media. Much appreciated. We'll talk again soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
We got to take a break. 8:30 news coming up. Lisa Best with the top stories of the day in just a moment. And then we are going to be touching base on the trade troubles between Canada and the U.S. That deadline for Donald Trump's latest tariff threats, it's tomorrow. It's really soon. Here on the 11th hour, what's the latest? We're going to get into that next.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 8:31 on Tuesday, August 18th. Weather-wise, we're looking very stable. Just imagine the last couple of days. We're getting that weather again, but we'll give you the details in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here's Lisa Best.
We're learning that Prime Minister Mark Carney and Donald Trump spoke yesterday in the lead-up for tomorrow's deadline for Trump's new 50% tariff threat. But just like the closed-door negotiations to try to hammer out a last-minute trade deal, details of what they're talking about are not being shared. CTV's Michael Serapio with the latest.
From everything that we continue to hear, the two sides are still far apart. And at the core of it seems to be concerns of being expressed by Canadian negotiators that the United States is not addressing those sectoral tariffs that have hit steel, aluminum, autos, and lumber. And, you know, we've heard it time and again from the Prime Minister. What he wants to have here is a comprehensive deal, not just a deal that addresses the irritants that Donald Trump is talking about. The Prime Minister wants, kind of a quid pro quo here, but it looks like we're still far away.
Here's where Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc says negotiations stand.
We're going to continue working. Our job is not yet done.
Officials say so far concessions the U.S. has been offered on sectoral tariffs don't go far enough. CTV News chief financial correspondent Amanda Lang believes they don't necessarily have to right now.
We can talk about things later. I suspect we'll get some kind of interim deal that says we're going to come back to autos and we're going to do all the kind of fine print on the full deal later. But right now, we're going to agree on some basics. And on that list has to be relief for the industries that have been hurt so badly over the last couple of years.
On that note, we're going to hear from BC Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jen Riley. She's going to be live in a few minutes now at 8:50 to talk about BC industries bracing for these tariffs, including forestry, alcohol, agriculture, and dairy. Demolition is underway at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School in northern BC, the site of that deadly mass shooting in February.
8 victims died in the February 10th mass shooting. The demolition comes after the provincial and federal governments pledged funding for a new secondary school at a different location. The government said in a joint press release that Peace River South School Board requested help after consulting victims, families, community members, and experts. The release said the help was requested to build a new school and ensured the current school is removed quickly and in a trauma-informed way. Former student Stu Bell said for him, the demolition brought him a massive amount of relief. Hannah Stoles, The Canadian Press.
A pivotal trial for Meta Platforms kicking off in California federal court proceedings beginning today and expected to last 6 to 8 weeks. Attorney generals from California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey are seeking extensive financial damages plus changes to how the company operates Facebook and Instagram. 29 states sued the tech giant in 2023 over child safety and privacy, lack of. The other 25 will go to trial later. The company also faces lawsuits in several courts. State courts. Meta said in a statement that it believes it has a strong case. We'll let you know what happens next. And a memorial is growing outside the South Carolina home of actress Hayden Panettiere. ABC's Sophie Flay says her cause of death remains under investigation.
Police say an acquaintance called 911 Sunday afternoon. First responders found her in cardiac arrest, and she was pronounced dead roughly 40 minutes later. An autopsy found no signs of trauma, and police say there's no indication of foul play. A cause of death is still undetermined, and toxicology results could take months.
Hayden Panettiere was just 36. She leaves behind an 11-year-old daughter. That's your news to 8:35.
The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking how often do you take a book or give a book at the Little Free Library in your neighborhood. 29% say occasionally, 16% often do, and 55% never do. You can vote at cfax1070.com, also the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time is 8:37.
Thanks, Lisa. And hey, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on CFAX on a Tuesday that's looking a little cloudy to start. Depending on where you are, you might be seeing a few clouds, but it's going to be clearing up and getting sunny again today. We'll get to a high of 23, 13 degrees right now. Full forecast to come in just a few moments. Let's talk about the sports now. Victoria Shamrocks, I got both teams that we're following. This is Senior Shamrocks. This is Junior A Shamrocks. They're both doing big things. Let's try to talk about both of them right now. Senior Shamrocks first. So they're in the WLA final against the Adnax of Coquitlam. Game 2 was last night. The Adnax took it 8-6. But the Victoria Shamrocks took game 1, so now they're tied at 1 game apiece, heading into game 3 tomorrow night, and the series shifts back to the Q Center. Puck drop at 6:30 tomorrow. Now to the junior level, Junior A Shamrocks at the Minto Cup being hosted in Calgary this year, and host Calgary Raiders were the opponent for the Victoria Shamrocks in the round-robin stage yesterday. The Shamrocks losing that one 5-2. It's the second loss now for the Junior A Shamrocks in this round-robin stage, but they got a couple more round-robin games to play still. Anything could happen. Over to baseball with 7 wins in the last 10 games. Toronto Blue Jays only half a game out of a wild card berth, and they're opening up a 6 games in 6 days road trip in Florida. Tonight, they open it with a first of 3 games against the AL East leading Tampa Bay Rays. And we saw Serena and Venus Williams playing their first doubles match together since the 2022 U.S. Open. They lost a thriller to Marta Kostyuk and Peyton Stearns with the Cincinnati Open underway. They split the first 2 sets. The sisters nearly recovered from a 6-0 deficit of the match tiebreaker before a double fault by Venus ended the match in a loss for the sisters. We'll continue to watch that, and that's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 8:39. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Hey, let us know if you see a crash or accident or anything causing you trouble on this morning commute. Like this one, I've heard that there is some kind of fender bender situation just as you come off the Pat Bay Highway heading in towards town, just before you get to the Whole Foods. Sort of that stretch. Yeah, the transition zone between highway and Blanchard, kind of that area. If you see any updates there, let me know. I'm not sure how bad it is, but yeah, fender bender reported just as the Pat Bay starts to turn into Blanchard, right before Uptown and the Whole Foods. That's the only blip I see this morning. If you have anything else, give me an update. Right now, the BC Ferry is looking good. No sailing waits. And for the weather forecast, mixes in a cloud today. Maybe a little cloudier on the morning end of things, but we will see the sunshine for the most part today. A little wind off the water, highs of 23, a humidex of 28, but cooler if you're by the breezy Juan-to-Fuca Strait. Tonight, a few clouds, lows to 13. Tomorrow, mainly sunny day, highs of 23, a humidex of 27. Sounds very much like today. It's because it is. We're just going to see the same stable weather playing out over the next few days before it clouds over for the weekend. Over to the markets. S&P TSX in Toronto is currently down 293 to 36,374. The Dow in New York is down 130 to 53,329. NASDAQ is down 342 to 26,302. Canadian dollar at 72 cents U.S. even. That's about where it was. It was a little up from where it was yesterday, but very close. That's what's on the markets. And, of course, the other big bit of business news is continuing to watch what's going to happen with trade negotiations between Canada and the U.S. We've been learning more about that as we're now less than 24 hours from those Trump tariffs that he's threatened unless a deal can be made.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Let's talk more about that deadline that's less than 24 hours away. Mm-hmm. That's when those massive tariffs that Donald Trump has threatened again are scheduled to take effect. It's just after midnight tonight.
But today is Tuesday.
Yeah, and Wednesday is the day.
No, but Tuesday, sometimes he changes his mind.
You're talking about the thing they call taco.
Yes, I wasn't going to say that because I know we have some Trump supporters, but
hey, that's fine. Yeah. We've learned a few things in the lead up to this, though. We understand that Prime Minister Mark Carney did speak over the phone with the U.S. president yesterday afternoon. Now, the Prime Minister's office didn't provide any details of the call. It confirmed that they did discuss the ongoing trade negotiations. Yesterday, if you remember, it's been all over the news. Mark Carney, of course, was in Newfoundland. They're making that deal about electricity for Quebec and the Maritimes and Newfoundland, all that stuff. But of course, people are asking him about all of this stuff, but the trade deadline. And he described the negotiations as very intense and delicate, but didn't really give up much more than that. So that's the latest from the Prime Minister's end of things. But interesting that they're at the point of he's been speaking with Donald Trump. I'll be very curious how today unfolds, because this is such a major issue facing business in Canada.
Yes.
And there's a lot riding on this, and we're less than 24 hours away.
And business in BC.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a few moments. The BC Chamber of Commerce, their president and CEO, Jen Riley, is going to be here. Yeah, so what's at stake here? Because I think BC is being disproportionately hit with some of these latest tariff threats. The 50% tariffs would take effect on a lot of Canadian goods. A lot of BC goods. Forestry is caught up in a lot of this. So we're going to be talking more about exactly what the effects could be for BC in just a few moments. So stand by for that conversation. We'll also just keep you up to date in the news as we continue to follow it. It's kind of tense.
Yeah, it's very tense. And the fact that they're still talking is not surprising. I mean, they should be talking right up to the deadline. They should be trying to hammer things out because obviously Donald Trump is trying to get as much as he can for the U.S., which means concessions on our part here in Canada. We obviously don't want to budge in that direction for our own sake. So, negotiators always stay at the table to the 11th hour. So to say that, the two leaders are talking, not surprising, and also not surprising that they're not giving up any information as to, where they're at, because no one wants to show their hands. This is a high-stakes poker game. And hopefully Canada comes out at least even or ahead. But we're sort of up against the devil here in what we're looking for. And, with tariffs laden upon tariffs, and every time we turn around, we learn about a new tariff, this is where a vast amount of our government's energy is going, unfortunately, when we obviously have our own country to run.
Well, which way will it go? And there's a big debate here, too, about what the right direction is, because could we see Canada give up some of our retaliatory tariffs or take away some of these trade irritants? Or do we see Canada sort of stand up and say, look, we couldn't get a good enough deal and it's not worth giving up anything else at this point for a deal with an administration that is kind of flippant in how it deals with these things and doesn't seem to be honoring the deals we already have. So, I'm kind of curious.
I like the word flippant.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to deal with that.
Yeah.
And, we want to think laterally and we want to think creatively outside of the box, however you want to pen that. But it's difficult when the goalposts keep moving.
Yeah. And I think there's this big public sentiment, at least some polling recently has been suggesting a lot of Canadians feel like enough is enough. It's time to kind of hold the line on giving up concessions, giving up things to the Americans if they're going to keep coming at us like this.
Right.
And does that mean, though, if that's the sentiment, if that's the way the negotiations go, do we decide, we couldn't do it because we didn't want to give up too much to appease the Americans? Who knows what's going on? Like you said, in the background, they're being very tight-lipped about it. So we are going to talk to the BC Chamber of Commerce more about this in just a few moments. So stand by for that. Right now, though, it's time for the headlines with Lisa.
We're talking wildfires, of course, today, too. Officials in BC's Okanagan region says a wildfire that devastated the area destroyed or damaged about 150 structures. Graham Statt, as Chief Administrative Officer for Summerland, says the count includes about 40 structures in his community of 12,000. The others were in nearby areas in the regional district of Okanagan, Similkameen, including the small village of Falder, population 215, where videos show homes reduced to blackened foundations. The damage assessment comes as the provincial health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, readies a news conference for 11 this morning in Vancouver, talking about smoke, wildfire smoke, and the dangers it presents to us. Firesmoke.ca shows wildfire smoke levels will be lighter across Greater Victoria today, but still present. It'll clear around 7 tomorrow night into the wee hours of the morning. The BC Wildfire Update has 126 fires burning, 46 out of control. 19 fires are on Vancouver Island, including 8 considered out of control. They are up island, mostly in wilderness areas. Businesses anxiously waiting for word on the latest slate of U.S. tariffs that are set to take effect tomorrow. The U.S. president ordering a 50% tariff on a wide range of Canadian goods. That'll begin just after midnight. Conservative natural resources critic Arnold Versen says previous U.S. tariffs on forestry causes distress in lumber towns, and don't we know it here in BC? We're going to hear from the BC Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jen Riley on that topic in just a moment. And a new study says one of the biggest predictors of wealth, future wealth for an individual, may be something you can't control, namely your parents' financial status. Researchers from the U.S. Census Bureau tracked more than 3 million families, finding children of homeowners are far more likely to become homeowners themselves. Carnegie Mellon economist Smack Risch says the parental wealth can matter more than adult income when it comes to buying a home, especially in expensive housing markets. Researchers say family resources may help pay down and make the down payments, and also financial support that can further boost long-term wealth building. That's your news to 8:48.
All right, we'll explore that issue of the trade deadline in just a few moments, but we'll get to traffic and weather first. Stand by for that. And if you have any updates on that collision that seems to be affecting things just as the Pat Bay Highway starts to turn into Blanchard just before you hit Uptown there, let us know what you see at 71010.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. A bit more information about what's going on on the kind of the Pat Bay Highway as it turns into Blanchard, as you just get before the Whole Foods in Uptown there. Texter saying there's a trailer on its side by Gateway Village, just getting off the Pat Bay. Police are there, says the texter at 71010. Another texter saying left lane by the Starbucks seems to be affected, but it's barely slowing down traffic. Not bad at all. There is a vehicle pulled over there, maybe two with a police motorcycle. So those are our text messages updating the situation. Not causing too much trouble, but Pat Bay Highway, just as it starts to turn into Blanchard there by Gateway Village, just before Uptown, watch out for police dealing with what sounds like a trailer that has come over on its side. Another thing that texters are letting us know about is the gas prices ever since yesterday going up to $2.099. But this texter says Daniels Market Chevron on Souk Road heading to Souk by Sunny Shores. The gas price is still $194.9. Thanks for that. That's from David. Those are our traffic situations. In the weather, it is a mix of sun and cloud today. Highs hitting about 23. A little humidity in the air, though, making it feel warmer. But some breeze off the Wantafuka Strait, making it feel cooler if that's where you find yourself.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, keeping in touch with Canada having marathon trade negotiations with the U.S. ahead of the new 50% tariff threat that Donald Trump has threatened on many Canadian goods, set to take effect just after midnight tonight if nothing changes. Who knows what's going to happen today? A lot riding on what happens today. So let's talk about what it means for BC. BC Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jen Riley joining us on the line right now to discuss. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Great to get you here. So from your perspective, BC Chamber of Commerce, how are you feeling watching things play out in Washington right now?
It feels like I'm watching a soap opera, if I'm honest, Ryan. Yeah. It's hard to keep track of the he said, she said, he said, and the layering of all the tariff negotiations and discussions we've had over the last year and a half feels like we need a degree to be able to figure out what we're looking at here. But big day with 1201 being the deadline for our current layer of tariffs, which is 50% on a smattering of goods that could certainly affect many of us here in British Columbia.
And let's talk about that. How, in particular, is BC exposed to this? Because I understand there are some BC industries that could be heavily hit here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the highest impact, again, for us is in the forestry sector. So, if we're all paying attention here, softwood lumber is already challenged as an industry, and additional tariffs were added. So 45% is what we're experiencing already. What's been added in this new round has been the value-added stuff. So that's a piece of wood that's been veneered. It's a panel, it's a door, it's turned into frames. So an additional tariff of 50% on goods that come from forestry. And the same could be for definitely an island industry that's been hard hit, is pulp, paper, and packaging. So lots on the forestry sector for sure, but then it is really all over the shop here with plastics and electronics and some consumer goods. So our counsel to any British Columbia businesses is taking a look at the list and seeing if it's affecting you or not. But certainly from an economy perspective, forestry and any of the goods that come from it is top of our list.
Yeah, that's the big one. And it seems like an odd section of tariffs that aren't hitting the country evenly. There's places like BC that seem to get hit a little worse than others. I think, I was reading some of the prairie provinces don't seem to be as affected, since a lot of the main exports to the U.S. from there, whether that be energy, things like oil, or whether it be things like potash and fertilizers, they're not seeing the tariffs. But forestry here in BC, definitely seeing it. And of course, the ongoing auto tariffs, and other parts of other parts of Canada seem to be getting the effects differently.
Yeah, alcohol is another one. I mean, alcohol, it had a win when we talked about interprovincial trade, a win that we can now sell alcohol without the boundaries of our provinces, which is fantastic, because now America wants to put 50% on goods like wine, still or sparkling. And of course, there's great wineries over there on the island that would experience this tariff as of tomorrow. So hopefully we can be looking to our friends side to side, selling things east-west on alcohol. And then dairy. I mean, dairy is certainly something you see much more in and around Quebec. But dairy products, another one on the list with a high sensitivity of 50% added to milk powders and butter as well.
Now, obviously, these all hurt. And hopefully there's a way to avoid this before midnight tonight. But another sentiment I keep hearing is that a lot of folks in Canada, in all kinds of different walks of life, are getting a little frustrated with us giving concessions up to the Americans, but then something like this happens again. And now there's another threat. Are we at a point where would you rather see sort of us avoid these tariffs at all costs, or would you rather see Canada kind of stand up a bit here and say, we got to get a good deal or no deal?
It's a really good question. And you're definitely, if you're looking interprovincially, you're seeing different level of backbone from different premiers. We saw David Eby, our Premier Eby, and Premier Ford from Ontario, both of them saying there is no way that I'm putting U.S. alcohol on my shelves again until we see, a better relationship with the United States and these tariffs. So it's a different tenor. I would say the same with Premier Smith from Alberta and Premier Moe from Saskatchewan. Both of them are quite keen to make sure that they can keep their relationship on things like oil and other exports like potash. So it definitely is layered and nuanced. And I certainly do not have the answer, which is why I am not in politics. But I believe my hope is that there's a little bit of give and take. I would like to hold firm in a couple of things that matter to us in Canada. I know that the auto sector in particular, keeping our quotas in dairy are all things on the table today in the final negotiations, but I don't think we're going to win without giving some concessions, to be perfectly honest. And I think the Americans would say the same things to us.
Sure, yeah. Jen Riley, President and CEO of the BC Chamber of Commerce, just talking about the state of negotiations less than 24 hours before the tariffs could come in. Well, what's going to happen? We'll be watching that closely today. Thank you so much for your time. It was great to talk to you about this.
Have a great day.
We got to leave it there because we're out of time for today. Thanks so much for joining us, though. We'll be back with you tomorrow with more Guns N' Roses tickets. Lisa Best with your news next.